Are you ready?
You're listening to DJ Oz Ozzy.
Would you believe me when I tell you, you are the queen of my heart? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you, just ain't the way it seems. Can you feel my love, love? Can you feel my love, love? Can you feel my love, love? Can you feel my love? Would you believe me when I tell you, you are the queen of my heart? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you, just ain't the way it seems. Can you feel my love, love? Can you feel my love, love? Can you feel my love, love? Can you feel my love?
Satanism. To most, it conjures images of medieval black masses or sinister deeds done for the devil. must expose all the evil being done in the name of Satan.
Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Satanic Panic 2.0 on Creation Watch, because we're going to scream about Satan. We're going to scream Satan tonight. And I'm not going to scream it alone, as I am covering this Robert Breaker guy, and he's a little too much for me to handle by myself. So, I have invited on a sickly crew tonight because everybody's feeling a little bit under the weather, but... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Where were we? Right there. I'm going to bring myself... I'll turn my camera back on over here. Oh, there we go. I got with me Vandalia 1998 and Purple Rhymes with Orange. Let's start with Vandalia. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little about your content and what you do here on YouTube.
Hey, I'm Vandalia. I probably won't be doing much streaming today after working 2 shifts of 20-degree weather and back drive-through, but I do some Let's Plays of games on my channel, but I also mainly do a podcast where I interview scientists, historians, and movie buffs about certain topics. Like, recently, me and Bree did a thing about spiders and other arachnids, so check that out.
All right. Purple, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I just do a kind of weekly hangout stream with some friends Wednesday afternoons at 2 Central. I always title it after obscure holidays I find on the internet, but we really stay on topic more than 5 minutes.
Just an icebreaker, right? Just to get the show rolling. Always fun, too.
Well, it's kind of like a lot of channels do an interview and then an after party. We just skip the interview.
Yeah. I did want to, real quick, before we get started on this, I wanted to plug my son's band. They just started their YouTube channel here today, and I wanted to see if we couldn't get on some subscribers. I'm hoping I can get get them up at least to at least 20. So, if you all want to subscribe, they're just a little local rock band, but they do a lot of their own original stuff and have a lot of potential, in my opinion. So maybe give them a listen and see what you think. All right, enough of that. Let's get on with the show, shall we, friends? We want to learn.
Hello.
About... Yep, we can hear you.
Can people hear me better now? They said they couldn't hear me. Volume was low, they said.
Oh, is it better now? Does the audience... Do Purple and...
Okay, can everybody hear all?
I can hear you guys fine, but if they're having problems hearing you, I want it to be
Captive
fixed.
Desk is saying turn everyone up.
We're all... Everything's turned all the way up. Should be. Hopefully we sound better. Yeah, Susan says we sound better.
Okay.
All right, well... We haven't even got into the Satanic Panic, and the dark forces are already aligning against us, team. Let's let me show you what we're looking at today. And I had Dennis remix this for us, so hopefully it's looking all right. So and I want to have this view. There we go. All right, so this guy's gonna scream about Satan at us for 52 minutes, and we're going to see how much it takes before we break. All right? Seriously, though, he's going to lay down some... There's going to be... Let me give you a sneak peek of how complex things are going to get. Okay?
I'm scared.
So, are you here for it, guys? And gals?
Yay!
Yay!
Bring it on.
And today's message, it's that time. All right, welcome back to the Cloud Church. This is Robert Breaker, missionary evangelist to the Spanish and English-speaking people, and we are assembling together here on the Cloud Church once again to study the Word of God. And today's message, it's that time of year again, it is going to be about Christmas. But notice I put a question mark up here. Christmas? Question mark? What I have to preach today is something I've been putting off. Trust me. This is something I really don't want to preach because I don't want to burst anyone's bubble. But there are some things that accompany Christmas that are not biblical. And many today celebrate worldwide Christmas. But it wasn't always this way. In fact, as
Like I said, this isn't the original. Dennis remixed this for me, so yeah.
you study history, for centuries, even millennia, true Christians have been very against Christmas, of all things. Now, it's hard for a modern person.
That is true. The Puritans were very, very against Christian. Like the people we celebrated in November didn't want us to celebrate in December.
Well, actually, in the late 1600s, the Puritans outlawed Christmas in America.
Yeah. Yeah. That was law in a lot of states for a long time.
Oh, yeah. The only true war on Christmas, in my opinion, is the people that play Christmas music before Thanksgiving, or in October or September.
Yeah.
I love Christmas, but hearing that music way earlier just drives me crazy.
What about the song "Making Christmas" from Nightmare Before Christmas? It takes place on the day after Halloween.
What was a Halloween? That's a Halloween movie, kind of, at Christmas. So that's a different story.
Yeah, we got Nightmare Before Christmas that kind of toes that line for us. A lot of Tim Burton's projects sort of do. Edward Scissorhands has Christmassy theme too. Guess he must like holidays.
And the thing, how can
You know who doesn't like holidays? Robert Breaker.
Christians be against Christmas? But yet they were dogmatically against it. The Puritans in England would not celebrate Christmas because they studied what I'm going to show you today. And they said, no, we cannot, as Christians in good conscience, celebrate this festival. Well, should
He just admitted that he's like aligning himself with the Puritans here. But he's like, yeah.
we? That's the question. So I don't want to burst anyone's bubble. I'm not trying to take Christmas from you. Many Christians love Christmas time. I love the time of Christmas. It's time to get together with family and to fellowship and eat. Many people say Jesus is the reason for the season. Yes, let's celebrate Jesus. Let's remember Jesus Christ. But let's also remember there is also a pagan influence in Christianity today that has mixed with Christmas. In fact, in the United States of America, when it was founded, did you know that our founding fathers rejected wholeheartedly, dogmatically Christmas?
Well, like the idea of Christmas wasn't the same as
Yeah.
what we have today.
There's an influence, quote, today, not always.
It used to be more like how we do New Year's, adults getting wasted and going out on the town. That used to be how Christmas was celebrated. And then we would sing songs. You go around the town, you'd sing songs. And the people, you'd come to their door and they'd give you ale or whatever. It was called wassailing. You'd barter for stuff, and then you'd go on with them to the next house. In Wales, they had a really cool version of it that I bet Purple knows all about.
No, I don't know a lot about
Actually,
Wales.
You don't know about the Mary Lewin? They take a horse skull, right, and put it up on a stick, and decorate it all pretty for Christmas, and then they drape a sheet over the person holding it, so it looks like it's got a cloak on. And it's a horse head, and you move its mouth. You move its mouth while you sing with another stick, and yeah, it's like an old Welsh tradition. And it's done with a horse skull. But there used to be a lot of old-timey traditions like that were more about merrymaking and stuff than about being all into Jesus and stuff. Hold on, I think I heard a Jenny pop in. Is that a Jenny I hear?
Yeah. I apologize for being late. I seem to do this a lot lately. I set my alarm, but I didn't turn it on. But here I am.
We were talking about that Welsh horse skull tradition. If you didn't catch what we're just going over.
Oh, that's okay. I'll hang on and listen, and we'll jump in there.
Yeah, so he's talking about the founding fathers being against Christmas, and me and Vandalia and Purple were talking about how Christmas that they celebrated back then wasn't the same type of holiday it is now. It was more like akin to St. Patrick's Day and New Year's and days like that. And now than what we see in modern times, it was a day of going out and getting drunk and singing and stuff.
Well,
I always thought in the old days they made Jesus cook all the dinners and stuff.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing is you're supposed to be like at those types of things. You're supposed to be racking up the sin points, right? And then you can go to the church and get forgiven. Oh, I guess that's why they were against it. The Protestants were against it, and why they wanted to get away from it, because they didn't like having a forgiving. A way of getting forgiven. That's why they didn't like. That's why they didn't like the church, right? They wanted. They didn't think that the church should be able to forgive sins. Sin can only be through Jesus, right? Anyway, let's let this guy tell us more about it.
Said we will not celebrate that pagan holiday. It wasn't until about 1840, if I remember reading 1842-ish, somewhere around there, that Alabama was the first state in America that made Christmas a holiday on the calendar. Legalized it as a holiday. So
it wasn't illegal though everywhere at that time, because like jolly old Saint, or what's it the night before Christmas, a visit from Saint Nick or whatever. That was like 1819 or something like that. It was in Washington. Irving wrote about Santa Claus, didn't he? Surely he did.
I believe so.
Let me Google that. Oh, I don't want everybody to see my Googling though. I guess I'll Google it over here. Washington Irving and Santa Claus. Washington Irving and Santa Claus, yes. And Washington Irving was dead by 1859. So, what are you talking about, dude? All right.
My elementary school was named Washington Irving.
Yeah.
It was.
He wrote
I went
some
there
bangers.
for 1 year.
Yeah, he wrote, I like Rip Van Winkle. He wrote the Sleepy Hollow legend.
Chapter 12 of the Kama Sutra.
Did he really? That's hot. All right, let's continue on.
History as Christians and as Americans as being very dogmatically against Christmas. And yet, now, we're very much for Christmas. A lot of what I'm going to teach and preach on today, I told some missionaries in Honduras one time that came and visited from America. I said, well, you know the truth about Christmas, right? You know this. And when I got done, they looked at me and said, well, you're just anti-American. Well, this has nothing to do with being anti-American or pro-American. I am an American.
Well, the way we celebrate Christmas now there's a very American way to celebrate Christmas. A very commercial way to celebrate Christmas. You have to buy exactly the right things and spend exactly the right amount of money on exactly the right people. And it's all about exchanging gifts and
exactly the right dress, exactly the right ugly sweater. Yeah, sweaters.
Yes.
That's ugly.
We can make an ugly sweater too, though.
Well, that's true. I really didn't need to, because I've never had very good taste in clothes, and pretty much everybody says all my sweaters are ugly. So I got a choice.
I think I even have a sweater.
I was born and raised in the
anymore.
United States of
Huh?
I don't think I even have a sweater anymore.
Oh.
I just have the sweatshirts.
Yeah. I got some sweatshirts. I don't have any sweaters.
America. But this has nothing to do with American. Why did they say that? What did they mean? Well, they had in their mind that this time Christmas means these things, and all of America has accepted the fact that they believe that Christmas deals with this. Well, what does Christmas deal with? Well, many preachers will be in the pulpit on Christmas Day.
His voice sounds like a chipmunk, because if I let the YouTube thing speed him up, then he still sounds normal and it's not funny. So I sped him up myself with my own editor. That way he sounds funny while we listen to him. And we can speed him up and get through it faster. Because this was like an 1.5 hour long sermon.
Day, well, on the Sunday before Christmas. And then we'll be preaching about Jesus and the manger and the birth of Christ. And that's what we should remember, is the birth of Christ. So I'm going to start out by reading Luke chapter 2. And it says there, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Verse 1. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee unto the city of Nazareth, unto Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they...
What the hell kind of census even was that, though? What kind of census has you go back to the town you were born in? It's not a thing.
A Jesus census?
That's the only census I've ever heard of in history where you go back to the town you were born in. Anybody not think that's suspicious?
Yeah.
Alone here? Yeah.
Well, and also, why would he have brought his pregnant wife? That, you know, the pregnant wife would have been left with his mother or with an aunt.
Some sort of midwife, yeah. Somebody to help her with the baby. Not sent on a journey at, she would have been, 9 months pregnant? So, yeah, let's hop on the camel and go cross country. Maybe they were trying to induce labor.
Why couldn't they tell us when we were kids and indoctrinating us into all this stuff that Mary was a teenager and God basically, did a great job on her?
That's gonna stir unwanted questions, I think.
They were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in the manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there was in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. This is the
if that happens today, that inn will
America, true
that inn will get a. If that happened today, that inn will get a bad Yelp review. Inn rejects pregnant lady. News at 11.
Right? Yeah, it'd be a top story. People would be leaving. They'd be like, I'm not staying in an inn that rejects pregnant women. And they'd like, get me my bags. I'm going elsewhere. There would be.
Yep.
Christians who want to celebrate the birth of Christ, they remember the birth of Christ with the nativity scene. And that's the good part of Christmas. That's the part in which we think about Jesus Christ. And then it says, verse 8, and there was in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And although
the nativity scene's the only part of Christmas that actually is Christian. Virtually everything else came from other cultures that they were doing before they had Bibles.
Yeah. It's like we let them put their nativity scene next to our tree, right? And then all of a sudden they're wanting to push the tree out and replace it with their nativity scene. It's like, hey, hold up there, kitty cat.
And it also always has the quote wise men and the shepherds at the same time.
Ooh, I did a cool image of the wise men and the shepherds. I should show you guys here.
And they wonder why people steal the baby Jesus from the nativity scene.
They should replace it with one of those living dead dolls.
No. You steal the baby Jesus so that a cat can have that bed.
Oh, that's so sweet. I've seen some where the cats knocked the baby out right in there.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
You can always do a Chucky doll.
Chucky.
Oh, hold on.
It would be even better if you had a doll that talked with a motion sensor in it. So every time somebody came up to it, it did like a demonic cackle or something.
That's big. Hold on, let me show you guys the three wise men that I photoshopped. Hold on. I gotta switch screen. I'm sharing now. Make it as complicated as possible. And that's how I roll. Mo, like, do you want this to be easy? Nah, I want it to be complicated. Recognize those wise men?
One of them I do.
Yeah, it's Aaron, Matt Dillahunty, and I put Paula Gia on there. That's actually Paula Gia's Halloween paint.
Now I recognize Paula Gia. You said that I recognize Aaron right off the bat.
Yeah.
As soon as you said the other two, like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of thought the one on the right was the Frank Gorshin character in Star Trek.
I wonder who we are in the.
Well, yeah, I made this one. I was planning on being part of a fundraiser for the holidays, but I didn't end up taking part in it, so I just left it alone.
If these are the wise men, I wonder what we are. Like,
the shepherds in the field, maybe. I don't know. I don't.
I don't know.
I don't.
I couldn't take out a lion if I was a shepherd. Nah, the sheep, let me eat the sheep. I don't care.
Maybe we knew that she had. We would have been the people in the inn trying to keep the unearthly child from getting in and getting to the blood of our people staying at the inn. Just some thoughts I have when I'm laying awake at night.
Shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. It's a joyous time when we think about Christ Jesus. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And there shall be a sign unto you, you shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. So when we think as Christians about Christmas, this is what we should think about. We should think about this time of when Christ was born. Jesus Christ born in a manger. The nativity scene, if you will. However,
Quote,
I want to look
question.
at
People brought it. I'm sure people brought this up before, but I don't know. The Middle East might be different, but do people have their sheep out eating grass in the middle of December?
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think they do.
It's the Middle East. The weather's different there. They get cold and stuff, but
I don't know if it was
it's not like Minnesota cold.
It was different. The weather was different over there.
No, they have a Mediterranean climate.
But the whole thing of the shepherds watching the sheep by night, they would only do that during the lambing season, which is in the spring.
Yeah.
I thought for sure I read in Isaiah. Let's see, Isaiah 4, verses 6 through 7. Let us pray. But hold on, I have to make some coffee first.
Hey, Maya.
Hey, Maya. Great
Actually, the holidays would make more sense if they swapped Christmas and Easter. So they had Jesus being born in the spring and dying during the darkest part of winter.
All right. I've got it pulled up here. In the Middle East, the seasons are winter. In the Northeast, they have more of a monsoon through December through March, and then spring transition period, which is April and May. And then summer in the Southwest is the monsoon season, June through September. Now, that does sound a little bit like the American South versus the American Midwest, kind of.
Yeah.
At least more so in the last couple of decades, in response to climate change. But yeah, all right.
It kind of makes me mad that that they would be attacking, people like us here when their whole entire region is based on transition. It's what's the matter with you people?
Yeah, Vandalia. Why are the sisses so cis?
Well, back in the 80s, they held a conference of Bible scholars and theologians, specifically for the purpose of determining when Jesus was born. And at the end of this 3-day conference, they proudly announced that, according to all the scriptures, Jesus was born on March 28th.
I thought it was February 29th.
This guy says something about September, so we'll get to that. He starts writing on this whiteboard. I promise there will be some whiteboard action tonight.
Yay!
Christmas, where even the word came from, Christmas. And some of this warning will be shocking to you, because we have two very distinct different...
Don't get shocked, guys. No shock, okay?
How many volts?
Oh, okay.
So I should unplug the uninsulated wires?
I'm scared, Mommy. I'm scared.
All right.
Different Christmases. We have the one in which many remember Jesus and say Jesus is the reason for the season, the nativity scene, and Jesus Christ, the Savior born. And we have this other commercial Christmas, this other secular, it's religious Christmas, but has been secularized and has been perverted and changed into celebrating someone other than Jesus Christ. By now you know I'm talking about Santa Claus. And so we're going to look at this. We're going to look at the origin of Christmas. Where did it come from? Where did all these customs come that accompany Christmas, like
Saint Nicholas, a Christian person, according to myth at least.
Catholic.
Oh yeah, of course, Catholic. That's
Yeah.
The evil Christians, or
the bad
not the
Christians.
true Christians.
The false. Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry.
I thought Saint Nicholas was Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Nope, Satan is. You'll find out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like the Yule log. What are these things? They call it the Yule tide. Are these from the Bible? Are they extra biblical teachings and traditions? So without further ado, I guess I'll get started. Please, I'm not trying to burst anyone's bubble today.
The Yule tide is very simple. It just happened to be when the high tide was closest to Yule. That's all it means.
Technically, wouldn't there be two Yule tides on that day?
Well, but when the high tide came in was when it was safest for the ships to come into the harbor. That's all.
Okay, fine.
I want you to enjoy this time. I love this time. My wife loves the music around Christmas time. She loves to hear. I guess my favorite Christmas time song is The Little Drummer Boy. I don't know why, but I've always liked that as a kid. So I like this time of Christmas. But there are some things that as a Christian that I cannot go along with in Christmas time. And so I don't want this to be offensive. I'm trying to preach this in a way where I'm not trying to hurt you. But I do want to warn you before I get started. There are some things that I'm going to say today that will probably shock you. Because you're about to see that modern Christianity has departed so far away from Jesus Christ that they're now, during this season, worshiping Lucifer.
You know, I was just thinking of something, Bree. They call this what he's doing right now, whiteboard talk or whatever. No, you know, it's very common today that we say that. You know, because everybody's got a whiteboard and these funny markers. But why didn't we back in, like when we were kids, call it a blackboard talk? No, they called it a chalkboard. Now, what's the problem? Why can't they say the word black?
And who still uses a whiteboard anyways? Don't they have not like a PowerPoint presentation?
Well,
I mean, yeah, it's still good and all, but if you're doing it online, sometimes you gotta get more technology creative nowadays.
But you can't freak people out with your fingernails on it.
Jenny, when we were kids, they called it a chalkboard because, of course, the white part was always the important thing. The black part was incidental. Because it's the white part. That's why he doesn't call it the marker board. Yeah, they've developed better markers that come off easier.
And what about bulletin boards? Say in the chat, what's your favorite writing board? Chalkboard, bulletin boards, whiteboards, presentation boards? Argue in the chat for a while.
There's no other way to say it. Christmas today has been perverted from trusting Jesus and his birth and praising and giving him glory and honor to honoring Satan instead of Jesus Christ. So let me start with the origin of Christmas. Where does this term Christmas actually come from? Well, here we have the cross of Jesus Christ. This is the death of Jesus when he died. And a little before that would be his birth, about 33 years, 33. So this would be 30.
I hope it came before.
33 or 33 and a half.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because they're against abortion. They couldn't crucify the zygote.
3 AD, and this would be 0. Now, where does this word Christmas come from? You know, your whole life you said Christmas, 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 and you've always remembered Christ. But do you know where this last term comes from?
Cancer research.
That's right, Christmas is actually
Is
Christ.
that how God impregnated Mary?
Mass. All they did was drop the last S. And so we say it different, Christmas. Isn't that strange, Christmas? If you really want to call it what it is, it's Christ Mass. Why isn't it called Christmas? Why do they change the word name Christ and pronounce it differently? Why is it Christmas?
And how is that related to Crisco, the cooking vegetable paste? Uh-huh.
Well, if he's bothered by us dropping the S and just calling it Christmas, why don't we just shorten it and just call it Xmas? I'm sure he'd like that better.
Hey, this holiday is not a game, okay?
Hey, I am definitely not dedicating a holiday to my ex. No way.
Well, we're going to see that it ties in to a guy named Chris Kringle. It ties into somebody who is not even Jesus Christ. He's somebody else. So Christmas has its origin, believe it or not, from Catholicism. Because it's the Catholics that do the Mass.
You know, does he realize that a whole bunch of other churches have almost the identical ceremony, except they just call it a different word? No, I mean on your basic Sunday service. They're all the same. I don't care if you're Lutheran or Presbyterian or Catholic, or they may have a little different chant in there somewhere, but they're basically all the same structure. So why is one so? Only the Catholics have mass. It's why are they criminals, or why are you asking that?
Yeah, good point, Jenny. They're all even giving sermons out of the same book.
Logan's got it right. He said the break fast. Why don't we call it break fast? What's breakfast? Yeah, I saw that I was muted for you guys, Victoria. I'm sorry. It's fixed now.
Now, Christians throughout the ages have known this, and true Christians have been very against Christmas, dogmatically.
Again, keep in mind, he thinks the true Christians are the Puritans. Like the Mayflower people. Those are the true Christians.
Yeah, if you don't believe me, ask them.
Told you in the beginning of this sermon. But something happened in about 1870s, 1880s. There was a man named Charles Dickens who wrote A Christmas Carol. And after he wrote that novel, so many Christians started to go, wow, that's kind of cool. That Christmas spirit, they called it.
Muppet Christmas Carol, best version ever.
Best version, hands down.
Yep.
I do think that is the true spirit of Christmas, is ghost harassing old people until they pay their employees a livable wage into capitalism.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
And many Christians forgot that this was a Catholic holiday, and that as Protestants and as Puritans, they were against the Catholics. Then they just said, we'll just start accepting some of the things that they do and bring it into our home.
What's this say? Through that book, Christmas went from a Catholic holiday to a culturally accepted practice done by all of society.
Would it hurt that the reigning government enforced it?
Yeah, make it a church. It was a church holiday. I mean, when they started accepting it in Victorian, it would just be Elizabethan. That'd be Victorian, wouldn't it? Anyway, Dickens era.
Yeah, Victoria.
Okay, so yeah, during that era, it would have been enforced by the church, even in England. It would have been like a church holiday.
Honestly, people don't generally realize the idea of a separation of church and state is a really new idea.
Yeah.
Because, even in England, they have the Church of England, and the monarch only gets his power if he's coronated by a bishop or an archbishop.
Yeah, but that's of the Church of England, which they had this big whole Guy Fawkes thing over.
Yeah. So, Logan Fisher, yeah. I just read that about the breakfast. I think it was Victoria. I was wanting to read. Victoria said, was Christ born on Thursday or Saturn's Day? Yep.
And they did. Was that good or was that bad? Well, you'll have to, at the end of this sermon, decide for yourself. But what we have here is Jesus Christ died. And when he did, he started what's called the church age. And it was all about his body. Of course, the church age will end over here at the rapture. Well, when the church started, it started out pretty good. It started out right. Old Peter was preaching to Jews, and we've looked at this before, and then eventually it went into Paul and how it was going to Gentiles. And then from Paul, the gospel went to the Gentiles. So all throughout church history, you have...
So yeah, he brought Christianity to Greece. Sure. I'm with you so far.
Christians going to lost pagan Gentiles trying to teach them the truth. But something happened in about 325 AD. And you had the true church, the people that followed Paul, split into a false church. And that false church that we know today as the Catholic Church.
Oh, you poor summer child. There are so many more splits than that.
Called it.
Even between Peter and Paul's time, between Peter and Paul bringing it to the Gentiles or whatever, even before that, there were schisms in the church. Oh my goodness.
Was officially started in 325 AD at the Council of, was it the Council of Nicaea? When a man named Constantine
You got the name right.
officially joined the Roman state with the church, and it became known as the Roman Catholic Church. When that happened, you had a state religion that was set up. And instantly
And that was always the case in Rome. Well, not always the case. That was the tradition in Rome, though, for them to have a state religion based on who was emperor,
Well, at least for right now, at least this guy is saying state religions are bad. Of course, it might be that religion is bad, but
Yeah, they always say that they were for Christianity being the state religion until you mention that. Yeah, but most of those Christians are Catholics. You want the Catholics to run our country, and then they freak out.
Yeah, but then they say Catholics aren't Christian. Of course, for all the ones pushing for a state religion, what's going to happen when they're trying to decide whether it's supposed to be Baptist or Pentecostal?
Don't forget about
Methodists or Presbyterians.
Don't forget about the Eastern Orthodox.
No, Lutherans. And the Church of England itself, because the Anglicans still have a foothold here, especially in the Chicago area.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
I'd just like to interrupt for a little piece of news. I think it's important.
Okay.
God's favorite sport, football, is on, and the Cleveland Browns just won against the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, there's still 30 seconds in the game, but I think they got it.
An Ohio Civil War.
Yeah, if the Browns win, the courts will cancel the opposition to the abortion amendment thing.
state religion it took. What was the state religion before that? Well, it was worship any god you wanted. It was idol worship. Well,
No, it wasn't. Every city-state had their own gods back in those days. It wasn't just idol worship whoever you want. You had to respect the god of whatever city you were in, or you...
Those days?
The law.
Those days? Isn't there a god hanging out there right now?
Yeah, for real. But not nearly. It's not nearly as versatile as it used to be. Yeah, the church is anti-diversity, I guess. That makes sense.
Constantine said, okay, all you pagans that worship idols, now you have to be Christians. And so all the pagans had idols, and they said, well, now we're Christians, so we'll just change the name. So this is no longer Semiramis and Nimrod and Tammuz, their son. No, now this is Jesus, the son, and Mary and John. And so paganism mixed with...
Who the heck was worshiping Nimrod in ancient Greece? He's talking out his ass.
And I thought, I might be wrong, but I thought they were all about burning everything and burning everything that had to do with this. So, like, let's burn the books, burn the statues, burn it all.
That was how wars used to go back in those days too. When you go into the city-state, you conquer somebody, you burn their idols, you burn their altars and stuff. Yeah.
Christianity, and it set up a false church. Now, way back here in Babylon, there was a man named Nimrod. Nimrod married Semiramis, which some say was his mother. We don't know, but... And they produced a child, and their child was named Tammuz.
So...
Yay,
yes.
God.
He's going way, way back. He's got to go all the way back to Old Testament Nimrod and try to claim that everybody's deities were based on these people. Married their mothers and all kinds of horrid stuff.
Well, he had to. I think Nimrod was the grandson or great grandson of Noah, so there wasn't many women left around. So he had
to marry her.
Yeah, because like I think at the time it was like 20 people total. I think I could be wrong with the math.
Oh wow!
I always thought Nimrod was this very cool kind of aluminum lighter that you pull apart, and it lights in the center. It's windproof for pipes and stuff.
You know, the Bible talks about Tammuz. There's places in the book of Jeremiah where it says when they went into apostasy, the children of Israel were weeping for Tammuz. They had accepted wholeheartedly the pagan teachings of the pagan religion, the pagan idol worship, and things like that. There are many good books about this. You can find this book, Babylon Mystery Religion.
Pause.
It's got a lot of good information.
I see we're also supposed to learn the new correct way to spell Sumerians and is that supposed to be the Talmud? No, it can't be the Talmud.
He says Tammuz.
Yeah, whatever those are. Okay, just checking.
This book is Babylon Mystery Religion. Why you got that, Mr. Christian guy?
Information about, Mystery Babylon. Now, you get a chance, go to the Cloud Church. You can look up my past sermons. And I taught one of the 7 mysteries in the Bible, Mystery Babylon. We looked at how all idol worship comes from Babylon. Babylon is where Satan set up a kingdom with Nimrod and Semiramis and Tammuz. And in that kingdom, he started his own religion. And there were so many things in that religion. There's a book called The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop.
He's going to lump all of paganism from around the globe under Babylonian mystery religion. So I thought bringing purple on here that this would trigger them, but she's just taking it with stride. So I'm annoyed because I know she was in the pagan scene for a bit.
Yeah, no, not so familiar with the stuff he's going on.
Just massive nonsense. This is what it seems like from where I'm sitting.
Yeah,
I'm a little bothered that you're a pagan. I don't know if I can talk to you anymore.
If you don't have that book, you need to get that book. That's one of my favorite books to read, and you can tell I've gone through here and read this whole thing over and over. I read it through once. I think I read it through twice now. But this book tells you about everything.
All right, he can read.
Yeah. He can read. He can write Gentiles and Paul.
Tell you right now. And how this false church mixed with paganism. So they took a lot of the teachings of the ancient pagans, that pagan mystery Babylon religion, and mixed it into Christianity. Well, what about Christmas?
Well, they did do that.
Christmas?
Went and changed a lot of the pagan gods and just said that, that's really such and such a saint. And, basically had all the Christian saints take over for the pagan gods doing the same things.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Bridget was the god of this land. Oh, it's she was the saint of this land. You mean? Oh, I get ya. Right? That's how you do it.
Well, here's a good book. It's called The Battle for Christmas by Stephen Niesenbaum. My wife got this. I can't remember if we got it at a garage sale or she ordered it somewhere. But wow, I could not put this down. It's amazing. It tells you a lot about wassailing. Well, you know, Christmas time, here we go, wassailing. What was wassailing? It was utter decadence. It was evil.
That's why when you were talking about the founding fathers earlier, that's why they didn't like Christmas, because it was about wassailing. It was about going from door to door, bartering and getting drunk with your neighbors.
For years, I always thought it was called waffling.
Yeah.
Waffling. I remember the California Raisins Christmas special. They couldn't figure out what it was. That's how I remember it so well.
Did they eat waffles or something?
They did part of it where it was waffling, and they had guys flipping waffles, like.
Maybe that's what I got from then. Back in the day.
And then they had waddling, and they had some geese that were waddling. Yeah, if somebody has a link to that, drop it in the side chat, and we'll watch that part real quick. But let's.
Well, and he just throws in at the end that it was evil, and it's that's such a Catholic thing that, well, if people were having fun doing it, it must have been evil.
Decadent is what they call it. Anything that's enjoyable is decadent.
Well, that's probably why the Church of England Puritans hated it, because if it's a Catholic thing, then yeah, Catholics are evil, according to them.
It gave the church, so the church promoted things like this though because it gave them currency. They had because you had to come to the church to forgive your sins. So they made holidays where you were supposed to go out and be a bad girl. Then you had to come to the church and tell the priest your sins and pay whatever reparations the priest has for you.
Well, don't forget about indulgences.
Yeah.
That if you had money, you could just buy a document from the priest that said you were forgiven.
Oh yeah, you could sell indulgences. When did that stop? That was going on about this time too, wasn't it?
Yep.
Different kind of things, and this is
actually that's part of the schism, right? That was what
Martin Luther
was all about. It's like
it was one of the things he got really upset about.
Well, that was that schism. There's also the Constantinople Rome schism in the 1000s.
What is the problem that all these religious people have about things like oh geez, I almost said desecration. That's not the word I want. When we get real basic and terrible, and it starts with the DE and
debauchery.
Debauchery. Why are we so afraid of debauchery? I think it's a fun
the only reason
thing.
I know that word is because the people that throw stuff at me usually have it in their vocabulary.
Oh, geez, you got the religious people hurting you, huh?
You know, as I hobble through the streets at night.
Decadence. That's the word I wanted. Decadence.
Decadence and debauchery.
What's so bad about decadence? and the other word they seem to throw around and everything. Pervert.
Yeah.
We pervert everything. You people are perverts. You know. God, you guys need to have a new songwriter.
Like the fornication. That's my favorite one. I love that word. Fornicated. Dirty fornicators.
It's also a lot of damn fun.
Yeah.
in America very against Christmas, and we're not in favor of it. Why? Well, let's get into that. Let's go to page 91 out of Alexander Hislop's Two Babylons. I'm going to read this to you. The festivals of Rome are innumerable, but 5 of the most important may be singled out for elucidation. Christmas Day, Lady Day, Easter, the Nativity of St. John, and the Feast of Assumption. Each and all of these can be proved to be Babylonian. Just like I told you, they come from ancient Babylon, that mystery Babylon.
Consumption? What was that?
Well, he said Feast of Assumption, but first time I heard is Feast of Consumption.
Okay, do you know...
Feast of Consumption fits better for the way we practice it now. You know, it's really just, eat more than you can handle and get yourself all bloated.
Yeah. Most church holidays that are celebrated that way, it seems, with food. At least Protestant church holidays.
The Feast of Pepto-Bismol.
You got that right.
Religion. It says, at first, as to the festival in honor of the birth of Christ, or Christmas, Christ Mass, how comes it?
Aren't a lot of these winter holidays that zero in on Christmas based on more Northern European roots than on Babylonian roots?
Yep. Yeah, quite a lot of the traditions are based on Nordic and Northern European things.
So he's claiming Norse stuff and Germanic stuff is Babylonian in origin. And
yeah,
there's hard evidence that proves that that's not true, right? We know for a fact that that's not the case. We know where these people came from.
In the Nordic and European countries, Yule was the longest night of the year, and that was celebrated as the New Year's. Because after that point, the days started getting longer. The sun was being reborn.
And was that week the longest tide of the year?
Well, the Yule tide was, like I say, at the high tide was when it was safest for the ships to come into harbor. So when the big ships could come into the harbor and unload things, that was a time of plenty. That was, more goods were being delivered, more things were available. So if you'd been having a hard time getting through winter up to that point, now there were a lot more supplies. There was a lot more food available.
That festival was connected with the 25th of December. There's not a word in the scriptures about the precise day of his birth or the time of the year that Jesus, was born. Now, I don't agree with that. In the Old Testament, it gives a list of all the different Levitical priests.
And
it says that.
But Yule was like a week, right? It wasn't just a day. People get that confused.
Well, actually, it was a 10-day celebration because when they had a lunar calendar, it wound up that there's a 10-day discrepancy between their lunar calendar and the solar calendar.
Wait a minute. They had a 10-day celebration because there's a new diaper filler out there?
That's why we have 10 days between the Yule and what we celebrate as New Year's.
Is that where we get
because those last 10 days were not counted as being part of either year.
It's a week.
I'm a limbo.
Is that where we get the 12-day Christmas song from?
I'm not quite sure how that came out as being the 12-day thing.
That'd be interesting, though.
I think the 12 days was...
The Nordic traditions was a 10-day festival.
I thought it was based on the gestational period of gonorrhea.
I thought that, for real, that was the Yule tide met. That was that 1 week of the year where the tide was high enough in the fjords that they could get the big ships in there to unload all the heavy goods. But I may be mistaken.
They came in their
course. It's the right answer. You got us again.
Well, no, like I say, that was part of it, was that, the high tide, that the big ships could come in and resupply.
Yeah, I don't remember where I heard that from, but you hear a lot of things about the holidays and their origins that just aren't true too. So it's easy to get.
What?
Yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble if you thought Tooth Fairy and Tooth Fairy has nothing to do with the holiday. What are you talking about, Bree? They thought Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny were real.
The Tooth Fairy is real. I've seen her or him. It was hard to tell. That I think the Tooth Fairy is an NB.
Yeah, that sounds right. That feels right.
I know Samoa is a non-binary, but
like Victoria is mentioning about the Yule log, and that was part of the thing was to drag in the biggest possible log you could find, to keep the fire burning for the whole 10 days.
Yep, you had a 10-day burner.
Oh, I get it then. So if the people who call it Hanukkah, it's a pure Jewish religion, but the people who call it Chanukah are showing that it's really part of the Christian BS, right?
Sure, I'll go with that. I grew up in a heavily Jewish community, and they always referred to our Christmas tree as being a Hanukkah bush.
Hey, look, Dr. Tapioca Weasel's here. Look, I got a whiteboard up on the screen, and you're not even in here. Dr. Tapioca Weasel usually provides my whiteboard fix, but Pastor Breaker, I think it is. Robert Breaker is this guy's name. Yeah, we're learning about Christmas.
You can actually go back to that Old Testament and read when in their course, or which one of the tribes had to, or which one of the sons of the certain people of the tribe of Leviticus, Levitical priesthood, had to come before. They'd serve 2 weeks in the temple. Every year, they get 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks. And you can actually read in the Gospels who it was that was the father of John the Baptist who came. And you can literally read what time of the year he came. And well, you take John the Baptist, he was about 6 months before
I'm sophomore.
Jesus was born, so you can figure it out. And you know what you find out as you figure out in the scriptures? That the birth of Jesus Christ was not in December. It was anywhere between September 21st and the 24th.
Now, that's one dude's research, right? Like Purple was saying, they have another person's research that says Jesus was born in the spring, perhaps in late March.
Yeah,
Is that
this
right?
is the first time I've ever heard of September. I wonder what his source for that
Plus, I've
was.
heard anywhere between 4 BC to 6 AD.
So Jesus is a Libra?
Oh. Yeah, all of us are looking up Jesus' birthday now, because I never heard this one before until I watched this guy. I'd always heard something in like March or May.
I have I think 2 questions about this.
And
Why does it matter? And 2, who the F cares?
And not even all the modern churches celebrate it on the whole Eastern Orthodox. They celebrate it in January, right? Like the 1st through the 9th or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway,
They should celebrate it when I celebrate it.
yeah, that's what he's gonna say about that. It's like they're just doing it
Never.
at the wrong time.
Some people say it was on the 23rd. So the birth of Jesus Christ was not December 25th. How did December 25th become the day of the birth of Jesus Christ?
No, wait, the 23rd, is that the cusp?
How did December
Yeah, the cusp.
Yeah.
25th become connected with Christmas? Why is Christmas on December 25th? Well, we're about to find out. This date, December 25th, was a date that one of the popes put and said, let's celebrate Christmas on that day rather than this day. So the day of Christmas is the day
You gonna tell us which pope, friend? Are you gonna mention their name by chance?
in which we're supposed to
Pope
celebrate the
Pope
birth
one
of
of.
Jesus. It's not even the day.
Pope One Up? Is that what you said?
One of. OF. One of.
How many popes have there been?
It depends on what name you pick.
Ooh. There's different lines of pope, though, aren't there?
I'm not certain.
Yeah,
I know that there's lots of Pope Johns, but I don't know if there's that many Pope Leo.
Well, there have also been some splits because there have been 2 or 3 times in history that there have actually been 2 popes at the same time.
That's not allowed. That's not allowed.
It's not
that's
allowed,
just
but-
not true. That's just
No,
not true. You're lying to us. You're lying.
Talking about like the French popes and the Roman popes, they were one was in France and one was in
that there were
Italy.
some divisions within the church that, like, you had one pope in Germany and you had one pope in Rome.
There was a Byzantine schism too. I don't know how
That sounds kind. That sounds kind of popey to me.
He was born. And we're going to see some of that as we read through this. But before I continue reading, let me go ahead and read a Bible verse. Romans 14:6. Okay? Romans 14:6 says, He that regardeth the day, regardeth it unto the Lord. And he that regardeth not the day, to the Lord he does not regard it. And it goes on there. So if you want to regard a day to the Lord, go right ahead. Instead of September, if you want to celebrate the birth of Jesus in December, help yourself. If you're regarding the day unto the Lord, you can regard it. So I'm not telling you don't celebrate Christmas.
Then what's the problem? Then what's the problem then?
What's the problem here, son? Yeah.
He's not even going to mention that the reason they picked the 25th was the whole thing with Constantine making it the official church of the empire.
No. Why would he pay attention to history?
We're only a quarter of the way in, ladies and gent.
Yeah, well, the 25th was the day of Saturnalia, which had been, the previous highest god in Rome at that point. So that's why it just got overlaid over the festival of Saturnalia.
Oh, an anti-pope. Fun fact, if a pope and an anti-pope collide, the annihilation into pure energy.
Does it take out the entire Vatican City?
They annihilate into pure energy, yeah.
Is that how the Enterprise got its warp drive?
Yep. You just put a pope in and spin him really fast. It creates an
pope energy, yeah.
That's how you generate. And then you take an anti-pope and you put him in the other side, and just spin them real fast. They kind of go the opposite directions.
What I'm trying to show you is that there are other things that are connected with this day.
Dirty
which
popery!
Are pagan in origin. And they have
dirty popery.
Tried to force those pagan customs.
Is that like a bunch of stuff you warm up that has a really bad smell?
Yeah. You heat up your popery.
If priesty type things and all that are supposed to remain celibate, why is there an entire what do you call that? Heritage? No. Holy fuck, I can't remember.
What, traditions?
No. Family tree. Why is there an entire family tree devoted to the name Pope? Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah. This is interesting. This is part timeline, part church family tree, part Jesus birth chart, part Bible history. Yeah, this thing is so much
to accept when they were about these people and not about our Savior Jesus Christ. So let me continue reading there to avoid confusion here. Chapter 3 of the Two Babylons.
Did you hear?
Page 91. It says.
Did you hear how he's like, we're going to read a Bible verse? Then he read like the first 10 words of it and said, and they go on as such, and then went back to bitching about the 25th. Why do we have two Jennies?
How comes it that the festival is connected with the 25th of December? Why December 25th on our calendar, Christmas? There's not a word in the scriptures about the precise day of his birth or the time of the year he was born.
Somebody has to explain why there's two Jennies here. I'm about to remove one. Come on. What's going on?
Because tardigrades are not solitary animals.
Is there a clone out there?
I'm going to assume that the earlier one lost the connection and she came back in.
Okay, I'll take that one down. Can you hear us, Jenny?
No, I guess she's having connection problems today.
Yeah, sounds like she's having some connection issues. She hadn't said anything, but I mean, yeah. She'll pop back in when she can.
I don't believe that. I believe the Bible clearly says it was around September. But he says, what is recorded there implies that at what time soever his birth took place, it could not have been on the 25th of December. Why? At that time, the angel announced his birth to the shepherds of Bethlehem. I began this by reading about that out of Luke. And it says, they were feeding their flocks by night in the open fields. Now, no doubt, the climate of Palestine is not so severe as the climate of this country. He was a man in the 1800s that wrote in England. And he says, but even there, though the heat of the day be considerable, the cold of the night from December to February is very piercing. And it was not the custom for the shepherds of Judea to watch their flocks in the open fields later than about the end of October. So there you go. It fits in that the true birth of Christ was around September. Because October, and at the end of October, it got too cold at night for them to take their sheep out. And so it says here, it is in the last degree incredible, then, that the birth of Christ could have taken place at the end of December. There is great unanimity among commentators on this point. Besides Barnes, Doddridge, Lightfoot, Joseph Scaliger, and Jennings.
Yeah, we talk about that because we're curious. Oh, he's doing that because it's sacrilegious. So
I just want to know the truth. That's my thing about the whole Jesus deal. I want to know the truth. If something supernatural is out there at all, I want to know about it. I don't want to be in the dark. I don't want to be left in the dark about it and not find out. And people are like, oh yeah, you have to just believe it without any kind of evidence. And it's like, nah, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. I want to know the truth. I want the evidence. Show me what you got, right?
I don't know who those people are, but people in contemporary whose time, in his Jewish antiquities, who are all of the opinion that December 25th could not be the right time of our Lord's Nativity. The celebrated Joseph Mead pronounces a very decisive opinion to the same effect. After a long and careful disquisition on the subject, among other arguments, he adduces the following. At the birth of Christ, every woman and child was to go to be taxed at the city whereunto they belonged, whether some had long journeys, but the middle of winter was not fitting for such a business, especially for women with child and children in travail. Therefore Christ could not be born in the depth of winter. Again, at the time of Christ's birth, the shepherds lay abroad watching with their flocks in the nighttime, but this was not likely to be in the middle of winter. And if any shall think the winter wind was not so extreme in these parts, let him remember the words of Christ.
So I'm thinking like in December and even in Palestine, it gets pretty nippy at night, right? Like, I mean, I'm thinking let's look at the average year temperature in Palestine. Just a second here. I'm going to get this pulled up. You all get to stare at the Christmas chart for just a second.
Yeah, well, it's still the northern hemisphere, so yeah, I'm sure that at night the temperatures probably drop pretty low.
Plus the temperature around there then 2,000 years ago might be different than the temperature nowadays too.
Yeah, and what's considered Palestine is different.
Yeah. Hey, Jenny.
Can anybody give me the StreamYard code for this particular broadcast? The browser version of StreamYard is misbehaving badly. That none of this ever happens with the standalone, but I need the number.
The number? I can give you the link.
Perp, where did she find that?
Well, I tried to copy that off of the link that Bree gave me, but I wasn't sure if that was going to work.
Where do they find it on her stuff in front of her face right now?
Okay, well, just
is it the SKQP?
Yeah, Jenny, that's why I tried to send you in Twitter.
Yeah, it just drops in the side chat. Is that it? I don't know.
No, drop it in Twitter.
In Twitter, okay. I can drop it in Twitter for you, Jenny. No problem.
Wunderbar. I also can't adjust my volume right now. It's screaming at max. It's really loud.
Yeah, well, I was about to pull up some climate of Palestine too, just to get an idea.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, so climate for Gaza right here. So I mean that's close to the region. Looks like overnight lows aren't that bad, really. 65 average. Average of 70. Oh, that's the maximum high. The maximum low is 8. So yeah, it does get it can drop down like sporadically. It looks like, but it's one of those places where I guess the variance is greater between day and night than it is between seasons.
Yeah, I was just looking on Google, and it says that during January it can get pretty close to the freezing point.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be driving around pregnant, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
and
they were
I'm
driving.
Sure being bounced around on a donkey for a couple of days is just not good for a pregnant woman.
Yeah, unless they're trying to induce labor,
or trying to induce orgasm.
Yeah, well,
if he can even afford a donkey, they might have just been walking.
Yeah.
Well,
she probably walked beside the donkey.
That would actually be one of the risks, though, is that, what if she had the baby, and started having it somewhere along the way when they weren't even near a settlement? So again, this is a reason why you just wouldn't do that with a pregnant woman.
Yeah, and if the cattle were all in the field, why are there always sheep involved in the nativity?
Because they have a special relationship with sheep.
Because they're wondering why the fuck there's a kid laying in their food.
Yeah, that makes sense.
in the gospel. Pray that your flight be not in the winter. So even Jesus says, don't do such and such in the winter. It's too cold. So how could they have gone in December and Jesus had been born on December 25th in a manger when it would have been too cold? Makes more sense in September.
Because nobody's ever born in winter.
Yeah, I bet the scholars never even considered that. Oh man, it'd be too cold to have a baby in a barn at this time, without any fire or anything. Yeah.
Indeed, it is admitted by the most learned and candid writers of all parties that the day of our Lord's birth cannot be determined, and that within the church, the Christian church, no such festival as Christmas was ever heard of until the 3rd century. That's what I just said. 325 AD, they began to mix paganism with Christian Catholicism. And it says here, what did the Roman Church fix on the December the 25th as Christmas Day? How then did they fix December 25th? Why thus, long before the 4th century and long before the Christian era itself, a festival was celebrated among the heathen at that precise time of the year in honor of the birth of the son of the Babylonian Queen of Heaven, and it may fairly be presumed that in order to conciliate the heathen and to swell the number of the nominal adherents of Christianity, the same festival was adopted by the Roman Church, giving it only the name of...
I protest. I am not a heathen. I'm a sheathen.
Sheathen? What is he talking about? I think he's just gonna quote that book directly without explaining anything here.
Christ. So that more pagans would join this state church, they said, well, no, let's just change the name of Nimrod and Tammuz to Jesus Christ, and change Semiramis to Mary. And then all the pagans says, oh, okay, well, that's the state religion, and we don't have to change our religion. We still celebrate on December 25th, so we'll just join them and call ourselves Christians. And that's what the heathen did. And it says here.
But the heathens were just... the heathens were the pagan country folk during the Christian era of Greece, right? Traditionally, that's who they were. I know that's been... the term has been adopted by... Germanic and Norse pagans in modern times, but initially it was the people that lived closer to where the Greek states were. So the idea that these people were Babylonian or had Babylonian origins to their belief system is just fallacious.
Yeah, it was just tribes in neighboring regions who didn't follow their religion.
Yeah.
But then we are talking about.
By the Roman Church.
But then we are talking about people who are not too terribly far removed in terms of time and brain capacity to have built things like Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Let's run our lives based on that.
Are we getting weaseled in chat?
Christ,
there apparently seems to be two Dr. Tapioca weasels.
We're double weaseled up in here.
Even in his day, about the year 2030, that's 230 years after the birth of Christ, bitterly lamenting the inconsistency of the disciples of Christ in this respect, and contrasting it with the strict fidelity of the pagans to their own superstition. By us, says he, who are strangers to Sabbaths and new moons and festivals once acceptable God, the Saturnalia, the feast of January, the Brumalia, the Matrimony, and he lists all these feasts. And he bemoans how Christians adopted these pagan festivals and just changed the name to Christian names, but they celebrated them on the same exact dates that the pagans celebrated their pagan festivals. Here on continues that Christmas was originally a pagan festival is beyond all doubt. The time of the year that the ceremonies with which it is still celebrated prove its origin. In Egypt, the son of Isis, the Egyptian title for the Queen of Heaven, so Semiramis is Isis, it says was born at this very time about the time of the...
Oh, now we're going to Egypt.
No, Isis was her own thing, dude.
It's all connected.
Every other religion is the same religion to these people, I swear. They can have their own origin, their own mythos.
We could fix this whole problem.
They all came from one common origin, regardless of what part of the world that people were living in.
We could end this whole terrible conflict and difficulty that the poor, sad religions are having. They're such victims. We could just put Christmas in July.
Summer holiday?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whole business about them being upset about the Christian holidays being the same as the pagan holidays is why Easter is so convoluted. Because they had to make sure that Easter wasn't going to fall on a pagan holiday. So Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox, unless the equinox falls on a Sunday, in which case it's a week later.
The winter solstice. Well, that's what December 25th is. It's around the time of the winter solstice. It says, now watch this. Well, no, I'm going to hold off on that one. I'll come back to that. So let me stop right there. So what is this saying? It's saying that Christmas is from pagan roots. Christmas was around December 25th because that was what the pagans called their time of
Something Weasley's going on in this side chat. Poppyoka Weasel, who you think you're fooling?
Saturnalia, the worship of Tammuz. Nimrod was also called Saturn. So the festival of Saturnalia was a festival in December 25th, in which the pagans celebrated the birth of the sun god, Tammuz. So they took a pagan
so we
festival
went from
celebrating the birth of a
Babylon
pagan
to
god.
Egyptian
And these
to
Catholics said,
Roman
well, let's
slash
just say that that's when
Greek
Jesus
now.
was born, and just celebrate Jesus instead. And all these pagans said, okay, we can become Christians.
Well, if they're celebrating Jesus, what's this guy's problem with it? That's my question. If it's about if it's about Jesus, what do you care? What's your gripe, right?
But you're worshiping Jesus the wrong way, Bree.
Then it's just
You gotta worship him my way or get out.
Okay, I'll get out.
Well, that's why I was thinking about July as Christmas, because it would be much easier to deal the well, at least with our family traditions of complete nudity and dancing in a barn.
But think about the children. They only get the 2 weeks off in December of school.
Well, that's
they're
true,
Already,
but
they're already off in July.
That is true, but they got other benefits.
Okay, but Jenny, again, nude dancing, that's a very pagan thing.
Well, yeah.
Who doesn't like nude dancing, though?
Exactly my point.
If you let us keep our same feast on our same day. So who are these so-called Christians worshiping? Were they worshiping Jesus Christ, or were they worshiping these guys? They were worshiping them. So we have
no, because they said they're
none of the
worshiping
above.
Jesus. If you cannot tell other people who they're worshiping, you don't get to prescribe that belief on them because you don't.
He's telepathic. He can read the thoughts of people in the past.
Right.
He's a typically rigid, anal retentive, obsessive compulsive evangelical that thinks that things have to be on certain days in absolute regimentation, and if nothing can move from this fact, and we are absolute. So screw you, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something nasty?
Yeah, you called him buddy.
have a connection of Christmas back to Babylon. Now I'm going to read the 2 Babylons. Well, actually, I just read everything. So now let's look at Christmas trees, okay? Now that we saw the origin, today, in modern Christmas, they want you to celebrate Christmas trees. Remember, it's not Christmas, it's Christ Math. It's a Catholic made-up holiday in which they took a pagan day, a pagan festival, and put it over here, and they said the Christian church now celebrates the birth of Christ on this pagan festival day.
I have a serious
when
question.
the true birth of Christ was around September.
Yes, even once in a while, I come up with a serious question. He's standing there. He just said that now we celebrate Christmas trees. We don't celebrate Christmas trees. They are a symbol of the celebration of the birth of Christ.
No, they're not.
Well, come on. I'm playing religion, okay?
The devil.
We celebrate them by murdering them and dragging them off from their homes.
Well, but it creates a lot of jobs, and it's good for the North Minnesota and Wisconsin economies.
I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to smell like witch in here.
Well, yeah, Christmas trees are celebrated because they're a symbol of the endurance of life because they stayed green all through the winter.
And
so yeah, the fact that we chop the roots off and kill them is kind of, antithesis. Yeah, kind of antithetical to the point.
Oh, Jesus Christ, how lovely art thou.
And how do you
crucifix.
How do you know what witches smell like, Marie?
Wouldn't you like to know, Vandalia?
Actually, yes, I would.
When's the last time you saw a witch around?
Every time I look in the mirror.
Well, you know, we'd go up there
Yeah.
before the witches.
He does draw a pretty nice arrow. Look at the consistency in the thing. It's really nice.
Yeah.
You know, very similar or very symmetry oriented from side to side, and it's nice.
If you watch the jump cuts, though, you know he didn't do all this in one take, so he's had lots of practice drawing this.
I'm supposed to be at what's his name? Beck's show right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm gonna hang in for a little bit longer, and then I'll jump over.
All right, yeah. You tap out whenever you got to. We've got this covered.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
They change it to December. You say, well, that's okay. They change
Is that the Megazord?
Yes, I am the Megazord.
it to December. Yes, I understand. He that regardeth the day of the Lord, let him regard it. You can choose any day you want and think about Jesus. But should you choose a pagan festival day and then change that date for Jesus, wouldn't you still be worshiping that guy? Because that was the date that for centuries and millennia that they worshiped this evil one. So what does the Bible say about Christmas trees? Let's go to the Bible here in a minute. I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 10, but I want to look at the two Babylons here. And look what it says here in the two Babylons on page 96. It says here, the Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt. In Egypt, that tree was the palm tree. In Rome, it was the fir. The palm tree denoting the pagan Messiah as...
I wish we still used palm trees, I think. I used to like the Corona commercials where they decorate a palm tree or decorate a cactus with Christmas lights. That was cute.
You don't do that where you live?
They do fir trees here. We can't have palm trees outside in the winter.
As Baal Tamar, or Baal Tammuz, this would be Baal, and Tammuz was his son. The fir referring to the Baal Berith. So this here tells us that those pagans used to have Christmas trees. Only it wasn't about Christ, it was about their pagan false god Saturn. And they used to build trees or decorate trees for him. Now, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10 and ask the question, does the Bible have anything?
They did not have Christmas trees in ancient Rome. The Christmas trees came from the Nordic and Germanic traditions. So, yeah, Christmas trees didn't become part of it until they got all the way up to Germany.
Yeah, or maybe the highlands in northern Greece. Like Macedonia.
Yeah, but I mean, they wouldn't have encountered people who were actually decorating the pine trees.
Yeah.
Until into the northern countries.
For Woden.
Yep.
Thing to say about Christmas trees. You know, I know a lot of Christians that they put up Christmas trees every year. And I don't want to preach on this really because I don't want to take away their fun, because it really is fun to sit around and decorate a tree. But does that come from the Bible? Or does that come from paganism? Well, what does the Bible say? Jeremiah chapter 10. I'll begin reading in verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the who? Of the heathen. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. So here is a custom that the heathen, the pagans, the lost people who worship the Babylonian religion, this is a custom that they keep. Watch this. Verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold, they fasten it with the nails and with hammers that they move it not. Does that sound like a Christmas tree? We drive through town here, and on both sides of the road, there's all these trees that have been cut down, and they're sitting there, and they're selling them. Why are they selling them? They're selling them for Christ Mass, so you can go buy one, and with hammers and nail, fasten it into your house, and then decorate it with gold and silver.
I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that the wrong holiday anyways? That's the... Well, maybe we're killing the tree it's like we killed Jesus. We're celebrating Easter the whole time.
Yeah, we want to celebrate fucking Christmas, dude. We're an atheist, and we do Christmas better than you with your snowflake tie. How's the snowflake tie How you gonna wear a snowflake tie onto the stream and then be all bashing on Christmas?
Yeah, I don't think that they had snow down in Palestine at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds a lot like the custom that people do today of a Christmas tree. And it says here, verse 5, they are as upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born. Must needs be born. They must be carried. What is the story of Christmas? Why, many TV shows tell you, go out and get a Christmas tree. And many people go out in the forest and find it and cut it down, and then they put it on their back, and they carry it to the car, and then take it home, and do this exact custom that the heathen did in the Old Testament. So this is a pagan practice.
There were lots of tree rituals that people did throughout the year. The maypoles starts as a tree ritual, right? That's its origins.
Does that mean eating maple syrup is a pagan ritual now too?
Sweet. Huh? See what I did there? Sweet maple syrup. I have to explain my jokes, so they're so awful. I have to explain them. Sorry for clearing out the room.
No, jokes are always best when you have to explain them.
A Christmas tree. Wow. And look what it says here. It says there, it is a palm tree in verse 5. Well, I just read you. The Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt. In Egypt, that tree was a palm tree. So this is an Egyptian custom of celebrating a mystery religion. You say, oh no, Brother Breaker, you just took away my Christmas tree. I'm not taking anything. I just want you to see the truth and then let you decide for yourself. What do you want to do? Do you want to remember Jesus Christ because Jesus is the reason for the season and his birth? Or do you want to allow the Catholics and the pagans to teach us customs of the heathen that we should probably not do because they don't honor Jesus? They honor
Erasing Jesus Christ sounds like a good idea to me.
Read you some more here. Talking about this, it says, let me get over here too.
So he's gonna read that. He's gonna read some more. I'm gonna jump ahead, or we're never gonna get through this because I know he gets really when he brings up. I'm gonna jump ahead to when he brings up Santa Claus. So, oh, I guess we're getting kind of close to it. Never mind. I'll just let up.
Among the Sabaeans of Arabia, okay, this is the Muslims, who regarded the moon and not the sun as a visible symbol of the favorite object of their idolatry, the same period was observed as the birth festival. Even the pagan Muslims, well, they weren't Muslims then, they were Arabs before that, for the putting of the Yule log into the fire on Christmas Eve and the appearance of the Christmas tree the next morning. So Yule is a pagan word for a child, and Yule is a log, but when you burn the Yule log, you're partaking in the mystery Babylon religion of the father dying
Wait.
back to life.
Yule
So the
is a pagan word for child? Where did he get that
I
translation
don't
from?
think that's right.
No, not at all.
It means early, right?
Yeah, it means early or dawn.
Yeah. I guess he's conflating that with like youthful or something.
Yeah.
log burns as a type of the dad who died, Nimrod, and the tree comes back to life as an evergreen as a type of Tammuz. Interesting. More and more and more. I don't have time to read all this. Here they show a branch, a tree cut down, and then there's the stump. And who's around the stump of the tree? Who's around the Yule log?
The serpent. It's too cold in December for serpents, my friend.
Dun dun dun.
Serpent, which is a type of Satan. Therefore, the 25th of December.
A type of Satan? There's different types of Satan?
That looked more like a quarter barrel.
December, the day that was observed at Rome as the day when the victorious God reappeared on earth, was held at the Natalis Invicta Solis, the birthday of the unconquered sun. Now, the Yule log is the dead stock of Nimrod, defied as the sun god, but cut down by his enemies. The Christmas tree is Nimrod Redivivus, the slain god come to life again. He comes to life again under the name of Tammuz, his son. In the light reflected by the above statement on customs, before I read that, let me go ahead and ask you another question. This is another one. Okay, so we see the Yule is a Yule log, and that Yule log represents Nimrod, not Jesus Christ. Another thing we see in Christmas is mistletoe. What does mistletoe have to do with Christmas? Is it from the Bible? In the light reflected by the above statement on customs that still linger among us, the origin of which has been lost in the midst of hoar antiquity, let the reader look at the...
Is that hoar antiquity?
I think that's what he said.
Among us, the origin of which has been lost in the midst of hoar antiquity, let the reader look at the singular practice kept still up in the South on Christmas Eve of kissing under the mistletoe bough. That mistletoe bough, or bough, B-O-U-G-H, in the Druidic superstition was, as we have seen, was derived from Babylon, was a representation of the Messiah, the man, the branch. The mistletoe was regarded as a divine branch.
What?
And
No,
it says,
no.
thus,
Again, you're talking about a plant that there is no way this thing grew in the Middle East.
Mistletoe, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is it like real deciduous kind of stuff, or what?
Yeah. Again, it's from Northern Europe, Northern Central Europe.
The mistletoe became the token of divine reconciliation to man, the kiss being the well-known token of pardon and reconciliation. So what you have is the true Messiah, Jesus Christ, wasn't even born in December. And you have a false Messiah, this one here. And so the mistletoe is a representation of the false Messiah. So question, when you celebrate Christmas, and you build a tree, and you have mistletoe, and you have a Yule log, which Christ are you celebrating? It's called Christmas. It's not called Jesus Christmas. So which Christ? There's the Antichrist? That certainly is an Antichrist. So what are you celebrating when you celebrate Christmas? Well, some people, without even knowing it, are celebrating the false Christ. He closes here by saying, thus the very customs of Christmas, still existent, cast surprising light at once on the revelations of grace made to all the earth, and the efforts made by Satan and his emissaries to materialize, carnalize, and degrade them. So what he says in this book is that Satan...
You heard him. You heard him, Christians. Burn your tree, tear for presents, and just
Guys,
get rid of them all.
I'm telling you, y'all stand out on your street right now, look down the road. All the Christians should be throwing their trees out the window as they watch this review this video.
I would love to see that. God almighty, that would be so. Have they covered the part where Jesus is trans yet?
No, I try to jump ahead. He's bringing up Santa Claus here in the next couple of minutes, and that's where I want to go.
Okay.
So.
Has gotten entrance into Christmas and is trying to take it over. And with the Roman Catholic Church, he has taken these old practices and poured them in together with Christianity so that people who claim to be Christians can be keeping these same feasts with the same different customs that they did back then. Oh, how that must delight the devil. Oh, how that must delight Satan to know that they're still worshiping him.
You think it would piss the devil off to have people worshiping Jesus on your day? Celebrating Jesus on your special day. December 25th is the devil's day, and celebrating Christmas and the birth of Christ on that day should just enrage him, not delight him.
Well, Christians have a strange sense of victimhood, you know?
Yeah, other people having fun is a problem. A big, big problem.
With his mystery Babylon religion. Let me go ahead and run it up here. Mystery Babylon religion. Do you see where I'm getting this from? I'm not making this up. So now do you see why so many Christians for so many years have been against
somebody made it up.
Because they saw where it came from and what it does. It honors Satan more than Jesus Christ. And that's so sad. But that's what Christmas does. Oh, I don't want to hear it. Well, I'm sorry, you don't want to hear it. It's true. Now, today, what they've done, and a lot of this was done by modern, this is more modern, 1800s, late 1800s and from then on. Then we have the celebration of Santa. Is Santa in the Bible? No, there's no Santa Claus in the Bible. But this teaching of Santa, what we're about to find out, seems to be surpassing the remembrance.
No Santa in the Bible? Can you confirm that? Is it Paul a saint? He's in the Bible. Because there's a city named after him.
Of Christ. You see, if you want to celebrate Christmas as a Christian, you need to remember the manger, the true Christ, not this Antichrist that's remembered through mistletoe, Yule logs, and Christmas trees. Remember the true Christ who was born, God, the true God, Jesus Christ, not this false God of the pagans. But there's many Christians that forget the true Jesus, and they'd rather celebrate all the other customs because they enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun to get around and decorate a tree with your family. But just because it's fun doesn't mean it's right. So I'm not taking your tree. If you want to do that and you think you can honor God by doing that, help yourself. Just for me and my family, we can't. I haven't had a Christmas tree for probably 20 years. I just don't feel like that's something that would honor God and that he would want me to do. So I'm not telling you to stop. I'm just asking you, what are you going to do with this? I mean, just study and see. But over here we have Santa Claus. And this is what many people are accepting about Christmas. In the old days, when you'd say Christmas, the first thing a person would think about was, oh, Jesus. Because so many say Jesus is the reason for the season. Now, today, if I say Christmas, the first thing you think about is Santa Claus. That's how much Santa Claus has been pushed through movies and through books and through secular media and newspapers and all. Everybody thinks more about Santa than they do about Christ.
Well, that's perfectly normal.
Santa Clausmas. Because so many people think more of Santa. You go to the
Claus.
stores now, which means
no,
used to be the old days, you go to stores around Christmas, there'd be the nativity scene.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's because Santa represents togetherness and fun and enjoying each other and celebration, and Jesus represents hell and death and God and annihilation of the entire planet and flooding it and all this stupid stuff. Why would people want to celebrate that?
And a crying newborn baby.
Yeah,
They're
geez,
loud.
crying babies. God, keep that off the airplane.
Keep your babies at home when they're going to be here. Babies. Now, have you heard the infancy gospel? Then you know baby Jesus didn't cry. He talked.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't.
Oh boy,
I didn't know that.
We will have to talk about the infancy gospel sometime soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now people say that offends me. I don't want it. So you go to the mall. You go to stores. Santa Claus is everywhere. So Santa Claus has hijacked Christmas, and he has taken it over. And now Christmas, Christ Mass, is more about Santa than it is about Jesus Christ. Would you agree? I think so. Well, so Santa Claus, he also has another name. What is Santa Claus' name? He's called Saint Nick or Saint Nicholas. Now, what I'm about to teach you is going to surprise the socks off of you. And I don't know what else to do but just present it and pray you'll accept it.
Here we go. So it can't be that Nicholas and Klaus or Klaus is the Germanic version of Nicholas. Could that possibly be the reason why it's Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas?
Stop talking logical.
He's going to say it's Claus, like Claws. I promise. He's going to say that.
But Santa Claus or Saint Nick.
What bogus religion is this guy from?
I'm sure he's some kind of evangelical. I don't know, Southern Baptist maybe.
I don't know, but I'm feeling sorry for his kids.
Yeah, no kidding. They're standing out there in the front yard looking at all the kids riding their new bikes and having a great time and going, but Daddy, why doesn't Santa like us? You know?
Yep.
If he's Southern Baptist, that's a new thing. I used to be Southern Baptist, and I've never heard this stuff before.
I don't know. Someone look it up. What religion is Breaker? Fundamentalist?
Places and listen to people who tell you where St. Nick came from, and many of them say, well, St. Nicholas was a 4th century Russian, and they say that he became a saint. Well, who made him a saint? These people. The Roman Catholic Church sainted this guy, so he was a Catholic. But who was he really? I've done a lot of studying about who St. Nicholas was, and I want to give credit where credit is due. I went to av1611.org, I think it was, and found a lot of good information about this. Who was St. Nicholas? Well, let's go to the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1999. It says Nicholas...
From 1999? Well, let's get the most up-to-date information we can, sir. Well, this was from 7 years ago, so this was from, like, 2016 or something like that. Probably. I don't think the one I found of it was the original upload either, so...
His existence is not attested by any historical document. So there was no St. Nick. He's a made-up character. Interesting. Other people say that St. Nick, who lived in the 14th century as a Christian patron saint of Russia, it says his accounts of his life are confused and historically unconfirmed. The Microsoft Encarta Encyclopedia of 1999. So they say...
So, I mean, you said about a lot of the saints and a lot about the historical figures of the Bible, too. Like, everybody in the Bible, except a very few, are unaccounted for historically, right? I don't think you want to start pushing for historical accuracy that is proven by secular archaeology, because you're not going to come out looking good, buddy.
Yeah, show me a police report when Mary Magdalene was arrested or something.
Yeah.
Well, even Jesus, aside from the Bible, the only accounts they have are later historians saying that, according to what Christians tell me,
so
there aren't any real historical accounts that aren't like, at least third or fourth hand accounts that were written down, a couple hundred years later.
So we got some questions here. Jeannie said, just got here. Is this guy debunking Jesus's existence as made up by the Romans? No, he's the Christmas birth, the nativity the December nativity is what he's disputed here so far. But now he's going to teach us how Santa Claus is the devil. So it takes a weird turn from here, I promise. Do you think it's been standard apologetics about why not to celebrate Christmas on Christmas the secular, in the secular way? But it's going to take a dark turn to where Santa becomes the devil. So you just hang in there, I promise.
And
Look, a lot
Christmas
of people
trees
think
are
that's who he
evil
was.
because there's a serpent hiding in the tree.
Right. Snakes
No,
hide-
that's possums hiding the tree. It was just a news story the other day.
Someone had a possum in their Christmas tree. I love that. Reminds me so
Yeah,
much
and
of.
it made national news. Why is that?
Reminds me of National Lampoon Christmas Vacation with the squirrel.
Mm.
Or
But we can't-
Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale had in Donald Duck, or yeah, Donald Duck's Christmas tree too. And how is that? Why did Donald Duck have Pluto as his pet though? That's what I never understood.
Maybe it's just
Historically,
dog
that's who he
sitting
was.
for Mickey.
It's confused. What is
Yeah.
the author of confusion?
The
Not Jesus
start
the
the start of animal husbandry.
Unfortunately, very little is known about the real St. Nicholas. I'm reading from the Christmas Almanac, New York, Random House, 2004. It says very little is known about the real St. Nicholas. Countless legends have grown up around this popular saint, but very little historical evidence is available. So it's hard to know who this really is. I'm about to show you who it really is, and it's going to shock you. In 1969, the final nail in the coffin was put into St. Nicholas and who he was. Pope Paul VI officially created the feast of St. Nicholas removed from the Roman Catholic calendar because of doubt that he ever existed.
So if you're going to say because people doubt that they ever exist historically, you're gonna have a bad time.
So even the Catholics are backtracking and saying, no, we don't even know if that guy's real. Yet they sainted him. How could you saint someone who's not even real? He says because the saint's life is so unreliably documented, they dropped him from the Catholic calendar in 1969, according to Microsoft and Cartoon Encyclopedia 99.
Serves them
No
right.
evidence.
From the Roman Catholic calendar, though, I think Eastern Orthodox still celebrate St. Nicholas, don't they?
And what about the Mayan calendar?
Yeah. He doesn't even understand the Mayan calendar.
I didn't know St. Nicholas had been dropped because, as far as I was aware, they still celebrate the feast of St. Nicholas.
Which church, though?
Well,
The
it's
Feast of St. Nicholas isn't that Eastern Orthodox?
no. I grew up in a Roman Catholic church,
Oh, okay.
Which one?
St. Lambert's down in Illinois.
Did they have like a playground for you and stuff? And did you have your own room?
Well, fortunately, I didn't have to go to the school there because my family was too broke by that time. But
No
Yeah, but
Catholic
you were raised.
school for
You were raised
huh?
in the church. You were raised in the church. I was just
Yeah.
wondering what kind of
Okay.
facilities they have, and should I consider it for a B&B?
no,
Existed this guy was ever real, or who he is. Now I'm going to go to an encyclopedia of occultism and parapsychology, printed in New York by the Gale Research Incorporated, 1991.
Parapsychology for real. He's like dunking his full face into the woo on this. What?
Page 650. Look what this book says. Old Nick, a well-known British name of the devil. It's right there. They say, this occult book, that Nick is a name for the devil. So who is Saint Nick? Well, we can't find any evidence that he was a man that really lived, but we do find evidence that this was a devil.
See, I've heard Satan, Lucifer, devil, but never heard of Nicholas.
I've heard Jack and Old Scratch, Jumpin' Jack Flash, or just Jack Flash. What are their names? Lucy, Lucifer, Satanish.
Bob,
There's a devil named Bob. Where?
in my heart.
Okay, Bob exists
Okay.
as the devil, and Dagon was the fish god. But no Nick.
The Concise Dictionary of English Etymology, printed in 1993, says that the word Nick is another word for the devil. It says the Oxford English Dictionary. Are you ready for this? Devil, besides the name Satan. He is also called Beelzebub, Lucifer, and in popular rustic speech by many familiar terms as Old, you got it, Nick. Old Nick. There are so many historical accounts that this name, Old Nick, or Saint Nick, is another name.
It's like a British nickname for him, I guess.
yeah, I had heard of Old Nick as being a trickster demon.
Well, you hear that,
Deals
people?
with, right?
Hear that, everyone? If you name your kid Nick, you're dooming him to be a devil worshiper.
There are no such things as demons. I just wanted to mention that. It's
I-
kind of important.
I just want to let you guys know that I have glow-in-the-dark cockroaches.
I mean, organic, biological, or
Yeah,
toy.
bioluminescent.
Oh, no kidding! They mix them with those fish.
No, these live naturally in caves.
Really?
Yeah.
Turn your camera on. Turn the lights off because
they're still nymphs right now. They gotta.
Okay. I'll say that's more.
Though.
That's more interesting. Whatever this guy's saying.
Yeah.
If I eat enough of them, will I glow?
Well, I did an unboxing, Vandalia, where I showed them. Right now they look like isopods. All baby cockroaches tend to be isopod mimics. So that's why they look like that. Isopods, like wood louse, pill bugs, whatever you want to call them, they mimic those.
Name for Satan, the devil. Here it comes from.
Hold on.
The book Old Nick. You got it, Nick. Old Nick. There are so many historical accounts that this name, Old Nick, or Saint Nick, is another name for Satan, the devil.
Satan. I love how he's a Satan. Satan. Reminds me of what's his name from Gravity Falls. What's his name? It'll come to me.
Here it comes from the book, The Origins, Last of the Wild Men, The Origins and Evolution of St. Nicholas, printed by Jefferson McFarland and Company in 1997, page 69, written by Phyllis Seifker. It says Nicholas is one of the most common devil names, I can't make this stuff up, in German, a name that remains today when Satan is referred to as Old Nick. So, Saint Nick.
Everything he's saying is made up. You guys, you have this little club that you make people join and give you 10% of their income every year, and you pretend that it's all about truth. This is about truth. Oh my God, it's God's truth, and it turns out it's actually all about some big fat guys. Well, I shouldn't say fat. That's body shaming, and I'm fat too, so I shouldn't say that. All they got is this idiot guy up there in front interpreting things, making things up, telling you things mean this or that based on what he wants you to do. This is just the biggest scam in the world next to Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's just like the guys doing conspiracies on the bulletin board of running strings between the different pictures.
Yeah. Oh, we should do that. We should get a room and all sorts of religious crap and make one of those string rooms. That could be fun.
Oh, just so somebody mentioned it, I'm going to. How will I do this? Here's how we'll do it. Open the folder, and we'll do it that way.
Oh, a revelation. We could do that string room thing. And we could make it all about the begats, so a visual aid to the begats. We can see who's actually nookie with who.
Can you imagine trying to do a family tree of Noah's grandchildren?
I think it'd be a great idea.
Didn't mean to have my files up there for everybody to see. I'll see how I do different things. Yeah, I gave him a funny voice. I gave him an elf voice for Christmas.
If you believe the Oxford English Dictionary, which I'd be inclined to believe. So we have Satan. Saint Nick is Satan. What about Santa Claus? Is it really Santa Claus? Well, actually, that word looks more like the word Satan than it does Santa. You just take the N and put it on the end, and you come up with Satan. And we'll show you in a minute that that's what people in the occult do. They don't care if the word's spelled right as long as all the letters are there. So they'll change around letters from time to time to make it harder to identify who they're really talking about. So this Santa
if you
Claus
rearrange the
Claus?
the words just perfectly, shit becomes fuck. So that's where shit fuck comes from. I hate these people.
That's the wrong one. Dang it! I'm looking for that. I have the church lady somewhere, but I can't find her. I was gonna play it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me see. I think I remembered where I put it.
I think this guy's making me sick more.
But it might take a minute.
Well, if you spell Santa backwards, it says Atlas, which is almost Atlas, who held up the world.
Oh my God!
Can you make it say at NASA?
You mean for the globe religion?
If he's Saint Nick. Santa Claus. The Encyclopedia Britannica tells us of the Nordic mythology of the life of Santa. Sinterklaas, as he was called.
Ooh, hold on. There it is.
What water transport company did they use to fill up the firmament with water?
All right, welcome back to the Cloud Church. This is Robert Breaker, missionary evangelist to the Spanish and English speaking.
Let me share this real quick. This is the same guy. This is a lot shorter though. But you can hear his actual voice without my oh, not like that.
I'm not hearing nothing.
Hold on, here he is.
Okay.
People, and we are assembling together here on the Cloud Church once again to study the Word of God.
Well, at least he's quiet.
And today's message, it's that time of year again, it is going to be about Christmas. But
no.
Can you guys hear
Nope.
it?
Nope.
Only the live chat can hear it. Dang it. All right, that's all right. We're going to go back to him on here.
Called by many, or Santa Claus, but he was known back then as Sinterklaas, was adopted by the country's
I'd like to apologize for not interacting with the chat. I cannot get any of the chat comments to show.
Yeah, neither could I.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's not me.
I'm in OBS. I'm not in StreamYard.
Oh,
We're not live in
That's why.
StreamYard.
oh.
I don't use StreamYard. Come on. I'm all high and mighty. No, I just didn't use it.
This new standalone app that they have though for us client type peoples is really freaking good.
I'm glad they finally got that worked out for you.
Yeah, I'm at Disney Epcot right now.
Oh, cool. You're wasting your time here talking to us?
Totally.
Can you be on Space Mountain or something?
Yeah, I have. That's in Magic Kingdom. I'm at Epcot.
majority under the name Santa Claus, and his legend of a kindly old man was united with old Nordic folk tales of a, listen to this, from Encyclopedia Britannica 1999, of a magician. What? No wonder they talk about magic. Satan is magic. He uses magic, signs, wonders. They're evil. But you hear on all the new...
He uses magic, y'all. You know, he put lays his finger... Here, hold on. He lays his finger by his nose and he up the chimney. Yeah, that's his magic. He's got flying reindeer. That's magic. Oh, we need to talk about the stoned ape here at some point on the Hive, too. So...
Yeah, and turning 5 fish and 2 loaves of bread and enough to feed 1,000, that wasn't magic, huh?
Yeah,
I call it foul. I call foul. There's no way that any of this is true. I'm a member of the Church of Satan, and I have not even learned how to make that third ball and 3-card Monte thing hide. You know, I can't. I don't know how. I can't do it. It's not magic.
TV shows, and every time they have a cartoon about Santa Claus, how does he deliver all those presents? Oh, it's magic! It's Christmas magic! Yeah, because he's the devil! That's why it's magic.
Oh, can we get a screenshot of that?
Let's replay it. Let's replay it. Oh, hold on. Are you going back or not?
It's magic! It's Christmas magic! Yeah, because he's the devil!
Oh,
that's why it's magic. How does he deliver all those presents? Oh, it's magic! It's Christmas magic! Yeah, because he's the devil! That's why it's magic. It says here, he was a magician who punished naughty children and who rewarded good children with presents. Who is Santa Claus? The truth behind a living legend, printed by the Bath Press, 1987, written by Robin Creationist. Some Santa researchers associated Santa with the Norse god of Odin or Woden. The god Odin is a god that's riding through the sky on an 8-legged...
Woden, not wooden. It doesn't matter. He's the devil. He's the wooden devil. Oh.
No, Loki's the devil.
Loki's the devil?
So yeah, Woden is the All-Father, the father of everything.
Hey, so by the way, there's 15 people of y'all watching here in the side chat. Will y'all go sub to Ian's Band's channel for me, please? I said I was going to get in some subscribers, so I want there to be some subscribers to show that Mama loves them.
Is he basically saying that if you have a wood that you're sinning?
Well, yes.
So men are sinning roughly about every 90 minutes? Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, how can they possibly end up in heaven? Oh, heaven has no men. All right.
Yeah.
Horse. named Slipner. Well, Santa originally had 8 reindeers. Sounds kind of like Santa with 8 reindeers, then they added another one, Rudolph. And this old pagan god. Oh wait, there's an old pagan god that they.
Now Rudolph was a modern invention. That was invented by Montgomery Ward department stores as a mascot for their toy department and being their coloring books.
The other truth about reindeer is that male reindeer lose their antlers in fall. Female antlers lose their antlers in spring. So if all the reindeer leading Santa's sled have antlers, which all the pictures I've seen show that, all the reindeer on Santa's thing are female.
Yep.
So that means that gift giving is girl powered.
Yes,
that's true.
And now you know.
Celebrating Christmas without even knowing. Well, when you celebrate this guy, you're celebrating an old pagan god without even knowing it. An old pagan god that supposedly would fly through the sky in the winter solstice, who, according to this, would reward the good children and punish the naughty. Huh. So many different books.
That
so many
actually
games. It says
comes
here that,
from the Norse
according
too.
to this,
yeah, Black Pete.
Because it was originally Woden and his chariot pulled by goats flying across the sky and dropping presents.
Screaming goats or regular goats?
Well, they adopted reindeer when they tried to assimilate the Sami, right? That's where that all came from.
I'm not sure where the reindeer actually originally started.
Well, it's the North Pole, and caribou, which is what they really are, is caribou.
Yeah, they live up above the Nordic, above the Arctic Circle.
So I'm figuring it was like, hey, let's get our food supply into this.
Have we studied the aerodynamic principles of antlers for our airplanes and jets yet?
Yeah, that's why their wings are shaped like deer antlers.
That's why all wings have that little tip on the end now, is they studied the aerodynamics and realized that wings need a reindeer tip.
So that's why it's all
The old Norse
female
god
reindeer,
Thor.
because if they don't have antlers, they can't fly.
Well, females don't have tips. They have another T word.
was represented as an elderly man, jovial and friendly, of heavy build with a long white beard. And his element was the fire. His color was red. Well, Santa dresses in red. He drove a chariot drawn by 2 white goats called Cracker and Nasher. Dasher is one of Santa's. It was fighting the giants of ice and snow, and thus became the Yule god. It was said to live in the Northland, where he had a palace among the icebergs. The fireplace in every home was especially sacred to him, and he was said to come through the chimney into his element, the fire. So who is Santa Claus? He's the devil. He's the same false god Baal that these people worship back then on this day. And yet we Christians, we say, oh yeah, that day means a lot to us. We love that day.
I remember Little Gideon. That was the name of the character. This is Little Gideon grown up.
This guy's really excitable, isn't he?
Yes. So excitable. He screams a lot.
This day is the day of celebration for Jesus Christ.
Well, we have to invite him to our naked Christmas pageant then.
He'll scream a lot there, I'm sure.
In Feast and Customs, Author Francis Weiss.
We'll give him a water gun full of holy water and tell him to try to bless us all.
No, I think somebody will probably be able to seduce him and, take care of him that way.
Did you see that they were actually doing that during COVID? So that the priest could stay 6 feet away from the parents?
Oh, yeah, baptize the baby with a squirt gun.
Yeah, some of the churches were actually, they were baptizing kids with a super
The holy squirt gun.
My friend Ashley has that as her banner on her channel.
Oh, man.
Ashley.
And people actually believe all this stuff.
Yeah.
The origin of Santa to Thor. Behind the name Santa Claus actually stands the figure of the pagan Germanic god Thor. Who is Thor? The god of thunder. He's a magician. He's the god of this world. The Bible says the god of this world is Satan!
He's not a magician. He's an elemental.
Yes, that's right. Satan is in the Bible. That's why it's okay to worship Satan, because they're in the Bible and they're a god.
The Bible says the god of this world is Satan! Oh yeah!
See?
There in 2 Corinthians. It gets worse. It gets worse. In certain German children's games, St. Nicholas' figure himself is the Dark Helper, a devil who wants to punish children. From When Santa Was a Shaman, St. Paul, Llewellyn Publications, 1995, page 105. He's also known as...
Llewellyn Publications, I know them well. I bet Purple knows them too. They publish all the...
I had quite a few of their books.
All the Wicca books, the spiritualism books, and shamanism books you could ever ask for. So we're appealing to them as a resource. Okay, if that's the way you want to go, Pastor.
Black Pete, the grandfather of the modern Santa Claus. Many years ago, Santa Claus was called Black Pete, known in Holland as CONSERVAPEDIA.
No,
The 16th century German version.
Black Pete and Santa Claus were two different people. Santa Claus gave gifts to the good children. Black Peter punished the bad children.
Wasn't Black Peter his shadow? I thought Black Peter was Santa Claus's shadow.
I have heard that by some legends.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm harkening back to my days running around with the pagan people, so it might even not even be historically accurate.
The Russian version of Black Peter was just another guy who put kids in a burlap sack and beat them with switches.
I thought Black Santa was actually Peter's fraternal twin and that their parents were a mixed marriage.
You can actually
Sure, I'll go with that.
You actually make some money by putting people in sacks and whipping them and stuff. Some people are into that. Just saying.
And there's many versions of Santa Claus, and over the years they've all come into one single little version. So they take from all these pagan legends and apply them to Santa. And what are they doing? They're taking all the different legends of Baal, of Saturn, of Nimrod, of Tammuz, and applying them to Santa. It says here, although portrayed as the slave helper of St. Nicholas, the two are in many villages blended into one character. This figure often has the name of Nicholas or Klaus, but has the swarthy appearance of the Dark Helper. To the medieval Dutch, Black Peter, Zwarte Piet, was another name for the...
He sounded so funny saying Zwarte Piet. Zwarte Piet.
Devil. You can't get away from who Santa Claus really is. He's the devil. In Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, it says, there are stories connecting Santa Claus and Christmas with the devil. In parts of Europe, the church turned Hermie into St. Nicholas's captive, chained dark helper, none other than Satan, the dark one, symbolic of all evil. Again, from the book, When Santa Was a Shaman, published 1995, page 96. Now, Santa Satan, who is he? You know, that word Santa looks a lot like the word Satan. All you have to do is take...
What's that, Ginny?
Isn't it spelled RHONDA SATANIS?
I have no idea.
I said it slow enough. I hope people could write it down and get the joke.
You said it too fast to write it down.
Rhonda.
Oh.
We know how to spell Rhonda.
Uh-huh.
SAN. I'm sorry. SATANIS. Yes. Rhonda Satan's.
Ah.
Take the N out and put it on the end and you've got Satan. Well, I read from H.V. Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky. In her book, The Sacred Doctrine, she writes,
another impeccable source for a Christian to use, Madame Blavatsky. Are all these occultist resources that you're appealing to right now going to stand on Judgment Day when Jesus is saying, hey, did you read from the pagan texts? What are you going to say? What are you going to say, Pastor Biker?
It conveys to the profane no more than some ordinary and often vulgar common word.
Just lie, like God's going to know.
Because it concealed anagrammatically or otherwise. She says the name isn't important. It is the letters. The Secret Doctrine, Volume 2, page 350. So it's not how you pronounce it, as long as all the letters are there, is what the New Age people tell you. Oh, well, the letters are there for Satan, so he must be Satan. Well, we already seen that he is the devil. Text Mars wrote the book, The Dark Secrets of the New Age, page 7.
Well, let's take this to its logical conclusions. Come on, guys. What else can we rearrange the letters on to make it the devil?
Subaru spelled backwards is you are a bus. Does that help?
You are a bus. That's technical, but true. It's the best kind of
bus
true.
Spelled backwards is sub, but if you drive it backwards, it's still not waterproof.
That's true. These are nuggets of like pure wisdom that are dribbling out to my live chat right now, and they're feeding like little baby birds. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Keep dropping them and let this guy talk.
80, and he talks about the New Age people are talking about Sanat Kumara. Well, Sanat is another word that contains all the letters of Satan. Sanat. So it doesn't matter whether you say Satan or not if you just have the same.
Sinatra?
Oh, wow. I'm still saying NASA. NASA's on here. Just have to drop the T.
I was muted. I was going to say, if you rearrange the letters of my name, it spells LSD.
You really, if you rearrange the letter of my name, it spells herb, which is also the way you pronounce HERB, which I smoked a ton of to get through this video.
You know, you can
It
get
sounds
every
really
one of.
it sounds really trippy, man.
You can get every single name the devil is known by if you rearrange the letters in the alphabet.
I didn't realize that. Thank you so much.
Same word with the exact same letters. It's the same person. Gail Ripplinger says Lucifer's true identity, as Satan is revealed as the anagram, a transposition of letters to obscure it.
Like, I'm going to sit here and listen to what the rake has to say, because I rearranged the word pastor breaker to make the rake. I'm not going to listen to a demon.
You know, if you rearrange the letters and add an extra S, it becomes tan-ass.
Mm-hmm.
So you change and scramble the letters of the name to hide the true meaning of the word from the uninitiated. So scramble the letters from Satan to Santa. And he's not Satan, he's just some guy that loves children. Oh, does he? Loves to put children in hell.
Whoa, dude. He's dancing the edge there.
Loves to put children in hell. I knew he'd sound so much funnier sped up like this. I'm so glad I did this. He sounds just like little Gideon, I swear.
It is a nice touch.
Says, New Agers say each name is concealed anagrammatically and are aliases and are an anagram used for occult purposes. Is Santa the great usurper of Christ's attention at Christmas an anagram? Old Nick is listed among the fallen angels or devils in the dictionary of fallen angels. And on and on and on. How about the word Claus? Santa Claus. Well, it says Claus, but it sounds like in English Santa Claus. Well,
which is just Klaus's this Germanic version of Nicholas.
What is this dude's name?
Robert Breaker. Pastor Robert Breaker.
Okay, it's time to experiment with what words we can get out of his letters.
Yes, please. Yeah, if you got anything in the side chat that you can get out of Robert Breaker's name.
How about Robert?
Let me make
Breaker,
sure that's right.
Reeker. Yes, Reeker.
I am bad at Boggle.
Well, Robert is, the short for Robert is Rob, so obviously he's a thief.
And he just had something he just did 30 minutes, 3 hours ago. Yeah, he just finished doing.
Rob! That was my guess for Petra. I don't know.
It tells us that the devil is a roaring lion. Lions have claws, seeking whom he may devour. How do they devour? Man.
Because lions have claws.
Claws? If you take this same pattern of changing letters, this comes out to Lucas. So change claws and take the letters, they spell out Lucas, which is short for loose, if you take off the AS, which is where we get Lucifer. So maybe that's Lucifer hiding his name in Saint Nick's Santa Claus.
Yeah, but what's the numerology for that? Come on, you can't be messing with ruminology.
But short for Lucas is Luke, who was also one of the apostles.
Don't get out. Don't go outside of the English language. You guys, you're gonna confuse him.
And in British automotive lore, Lucas is the Prince of Darkness.
Oh, sorry. I'm making whale noises.
Satan, Lucifer. That's what someone here says. It gets worse. Do you know that Santa Claus is also called Kris Kringle? Right? Santa Claus is also called Kris Kringle. Did you know that Kris Kringle comes from the German and it means little child?
Yeah, but did you know Kringle is a really
nummy
pastry that you can get made in Racine, Wisconsin?
Oh, I like a Kringle. Mm.
And Kringles sound like Pringles, so Pringles are evil.
Yeah. What about Crumble? Because they're crumbling the foundation of Western civilization, of Judeo-Christian value. I don't know.
Jesus, who was born in a manger, he wants you to worship him! And he calls himself right there in your face where you can't even see it. I'm the little child. I'm the Messiah. I'm the Christ that you should worship.
Or maybe it is Jesus that is Kris Kringle. Maybe Jesus grew a beard and it was white. We only know what he looked like when he was really skinny from being in jail, right? Was he in jail? Was he incarcerated for a while before he was... He's always shown unless you're in Korea, he's always really skinny.
Well, hanging on a cross without food for 3 days, you'd probably get skinny.
See, now that's another one of those illusions. They didn't hang him on the cross. They taped him to it. They had this extra surplus of duct tape, and they just handled it.
That makes sense.
Kris Kringle. Comes from the German Christkindl, the little child. How about elves? You watch movies about Santa Claus, he's always accompanied with elves. He has his elves. What are elves?
Oh, God.
Webster's Dictionary. Elf, a wandering spirit, a fairy, a hobgoblin, an imaginary being which our root ancestors are supposed to inhabit in frequented places and in various ways to affect mankind. An evil spirit, a devil! The Encyclopedia of Witches and Witchcraft. Says
I
Screams
prefer the
devil.
cookie. I prefer the cookie making elves. They are delicious.
Yeah, they live in trees. I mean, it's really dangerous to have an oven like that in a tree, but I'm not telling them how to run their business.
Okay.
Well,
This is part of the Christmas mythology that bothers me the most, that people have this wrong. You know, elves are more human size, and they tend to enjoy playing tricks on people. You know, they're kind of mischievous. Santa's helpers were actually the woodland gnomes, because they're the ones who only get to be a foot or two tall, and they actually like helping people and fixing things and making little toys.
I've actually heard that they're brownies. Actually, one of the Christmas books I had as a kid specifically said they were brownies. It didn't call them elves ever. And they looked
if you
like
look
gnomes,
at
though. They had the tall hats.
Yep. If you look at legends of the Scandinavian gnomes, they fit much better than elves.
I always thought the brownies had really cute uniforms, but even better when they went to Girl Scouts.
Guys. Holy shit.
Everyone knows elves are good at archery. And
yeah, anybody who's read Lord of the Rings knows that that elves are good archers.
About this. The host of supernatural beings and spirits who exist between heaven and earth. Fairies, elves, are fallen angels. You never knew this. Why didn't you know this? Because they try to hide it from us, don't they? Encyclopedia of Witches and
they hide
Witchcraft.
from you anyway.
Who is they? The Catholic Church, I guess.
Says, some fairies were said to suck human blood like vampires. What are fairies? They're elves. All right, I need to finish this. I'm not trying to take Christmas away from you. I'm just trying to put it in its proper perspective. Satan has kept this day as his holy day.
I'm not trying to take Christmas away from you. I'm just trying to drain all the fun out of it.
Well, I better see you not celebrate Christmas on 25th, Mister. You better go back and celebrate it back in September, since you're all gung-ho about this. If you celebrate Christmas on the 25th, then you're a bad Christian, Mister.
I think we definitely have to share this link to every Christian we hear say there's a war on Christmas, and so they can find out that it's their war on Christmas, not ours.
Yeah. I need to talk to this pastor right here. They shouldn't have a Christmas tree. They should have a nativity, and they should put it up in September, not in December.
Where would you put the lights on a nativity, though? Would you like wrap them around Jesus' head and Mary's, or the whole body?
I like how they tried to standardize the nativity scene for yard decorations, and it looks like two T-Rex fighting over a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, because that's the thing in the Midwest, especially, like standardize that. Instead of decorating a tree in your yard or slaying reindeer, they do that instead. And yeah,
and what was it? What were the? How did they light up the houses in Bethlehem? You know, what did they use? Torches, or did they have LEDs back then?
No,
from the ancient aliens. Come on, the ancient aliens had them.
Yeah, that's true. Their pyramids were lit by them, so why couldn't they light their houses by them?
Those energy absorbers, not pyramids, please.
How?
Holiday comes from holy day. This day was the holy day of Satan and his followers in his false religion. What an awful thing that we as Christians want to worship our God on the same day. But we do. And hey, either regard it the day of the Lord, let him regard it. If you want to remember Jesus, okay. But do not let Satan sneak back in and try to take over this date. That's what he's doing. He's trying to take over this date. Now, Jesus...
Well, why don't you just give the day to Satan and you go celebrate Christmas in September, and then everybody will be happy.
Yeah, you celebrate in September. Other people can celebrate in December, and you won't have to bother with them. What he wants is for us to stop celebrating in December because he doesn't like going out and seeing Christmas trees and Santa Claus and stuff. He doesn't like seeing that when he goes out. He wants to make us stop celebrating it.
You guys need to join the Miss America pageant. You'll both win. You have solved world peace.
that Santa Claus or Satan wants to take over. He's omniscient, or let me make sure I write this down. He's omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. This is what Jesus is according to the Bible.
So let's see now. He's omnipotent. Okay, he's what else is he right here?
Omnipresent.
Omnipresent. Yes, which means he is everywhere all the time, and he's omniscient, which means he can come everywhere, anywhere, anytime.
Yep.
Isn't it? Okay, I just want to make sure I got that right.
Kind of creepy, but yeah, that's what he's laying down.
He's omniscient. That means all-knowing. God knows everything. Well, what does the devil try to do through St. Nicholas or Santa Claus? He knows if you've been good or bad. Oh, so he's...
Oh, goodness, looking at that again.
Okay, I have a serious comment to make. Another one of those serious comments. God is perfect. Period.
Yeah.
God is inerrant. Never makes mistakes. God birthed me, designed me, made me within their image. Therefore, God is trans. See how that works?
Yep. It's a sound syllogism.
Our Kabir brothers is what Jeannie Bottle found of Pastor Robert Baker's name.
Oh.
God knows everything.
You okay?
Yeah. Just having a small seizure.
Well, what does the devil try to do through St. Nicholas or Santa Claus? He knows if you've been good or bad. Oh, so he's all-knowing. He knows everything, does he? No, sir. My Savior, my God, Jesus knows everything. Satan knows nothing. I want nothing to do with Satan Claus. Omnipresent. That means he's everywhere at once. I'll show you here in a minute how Satan has tried to teach that he can be in every place at one time.
See?
Omnipotent
That's
means
right.
all-powerful. I'm going to show you in a second how Satan Claus has tried to appear so powerful that he can do something that no one can ever do.
Well, you get hurt on a direct hit. That's what I understand.
Reindeer are satanic. Yeah, they have antlers, which are kind of like horns, like the devil has. That's the level of credulity that we're dealing with here.
Yep. And it doesn't matter if you're all powerful. If somebody rolls a natural 20, you still take a hit.
Seal the power of God. I'll put that to the end. It says here that Santa has tried to become Jesus. He's tried to substitute in Jesus' place himself. He's trying to be a type of Jesus. He wants to imitate Jesus. Let's put it that way. Satan has become Santa Claus, and he wants to be the object of worship on this date, just as the pagans worship him in days of old on this date. So he wants to take from Jesus all of Jesus' attributes.
They're going to have to, I mean, I get it, Northern Europeans celebrated a winter holiday. That's not like, to say that is to err on the idea that the seasons and things didn't play a part in why we celebrated dates on the same day across different cultures.
And apply them to himself. One of the attributes of Jesus is he wears red, but Satan wants to wear red. Oh, every time you see Santa Claus, he's always wearing these red.
Excuse you.
Actually, whether or not Satan wears red depends which country you're in.
And Santa wears red because Coca-Cola's color is red. I promise.
Yep.
And he's green other places because, you know, when you get sick and you're gonna vomit and stuff, you turn green and things.
In the Night Before Christmas, the original poem, he's dressed all in fur from his head to his toe. And they've changed that to mean like the trim was all fur, but the white fur.
That fucking paint interferes with everything.
I honestly always wondered when I was a kid, this sounds stupid, if the white fur on Santa's suit, if it came from Arctic fox, Arctic wolf, polar bear, or baby seal.
Ermine.
Could be ermine, or yeah. I always thought it kind of like baby seal, but I didn't want to ask him when I was a kid.
Wait a minute. Jenny, you think Bart Urban gave it to Santa Claus?
I'm not certain, but I wonder if they were any good at harpooning.
And clothes. Well, in Isaiah chapter 63, we read about Jesus. Who is this who cometh from Edom with robes dyed red? I'm not going to read it. I'm running out of time. but Jesus Christ. He's the one that's wearing red, and Satan tries to steal it. But what about riding in the heavens? Santa Claus rides on his sleigh through the heavens. You know what Deuteronomy 32, 26 says? I want to read that real quick. Who is the real one that will ride through the heavens? Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 26. It's Jesus Christ. It says, there's none like it to the God of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven in his help and his excellency on the sky. Everything that Jesus is and does, Satan wants to imitate and steal.
No,
And
that
he
was
tries to steal
Odin.
the
We
worship.
already
This is who
covered
we should
that.
worship if we're going to celebrate Christ. This is who is stealing and hijacking and taking for himself this time. Satan or Santa goes around saying, ho, 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 ho. Have you heard that? I mean, everywhere you look, there's Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Well, I want to show you something.
Yes.
Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 6. Verse 5 says, for I...
So ho is an English expression, right? That I don't know if he says that in foreign countries, in non-English speaking countries, I should say.
It's how he summons his personnel.
Or something like that. You know.
Say the Lord. So the Lord Jesus Christ,
Well,
God, is speaking.
Santa
And verse
did have
6,
his own personal list of all the naughty girls, so yeah, he knew where the hoes lived.
Zechariah 2:6, the Lord says, ho, ho! Come forth and flee from the land of the north, saying the Lord. So who says ho, ho, ho? The devil says ho, ho, ho. But it's Jesus Christ in the Bible that says ho, ho. So he's even hijacked the language of God. It's amazing.
By saying ho, 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 he's hijacking the language. That's Jesus' catchphrase. I didn't even know.
I want citations on that one. I just don't believe that one. Satan never said ho, ho, ho in his life.
I want to like. I'm gonna start saying that to Christians when they like say something to Jesus. I'm like ho, 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 because that's the Jesus's language.
If you read your Bible, what you'll see. Jesus has his own angels. Well, the devil has his own angels, his fallen angels. Satan has his elves, which we saw are fallen angels, evil spirits. The other thing I want to say is this. So many people teach Santa Claus nowadays, and have accepted wholeheartedly this false satanic teaching of Satan Claus, Satan Lucifer, that they are willing to even lie to their children. And they do. When kids are little, many Christians will say, better be good or Santa Claus is good.
I wish we could see him from the waist down. I wish we could see him from the waist down to see if he's brought in a Woody over all this.
There's nothing from the waist down. Sorry.
He's a Muppet.
Oh, he's a Matthew 1912, huh?
He's got his tie tucked into his Bible.
Santa Claus. It's not till older in life that they find out the truth. There is no Santa Claus, and that my parents lied to me. I was lucky that I had good parents. They never lied to me and told me the lie that there was a Santa Claus that brought presents. I knew that there was no such thing. I knew that was a lie all of my life, and I thank my parents for teaching me that. But you know who the Bible says is the father of lies? John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth because there was no truth in him. When he speaks the lies,
I learned when I was 5 that Santa drove a blue pickup truck that came to my house in a pickup truck.
Yeah, that's cool.
Chevy, Ford, Chrysler. Which one?
I think
Dodge?
it was Chevy because my brother and friends were all Chevy people.
Okay, well that makes sense. God wants to please you, so.
A liar and the father of lies. Santa Claus, you sit on a throne of lies. And you're a liar, and you want to tell people that you exist and you're true when you are Satan! And we should never follow you, you liar.
You want to hear that again?
Yeah, but in New York,
Okay.
in November, Santa has his own parade. Where's Jesus, huh?
I'm going to hear that rant again. Real quick.
Well, he says Santa doesn't exist, but Santa's Satan. So doesn't that mean Satan doesn't exist?
And the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth because there was no truth in him. When he speaks the lies, he speaks of his own, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Santa Claus, you sit on a throne of lies. And you're a liar, and you want to tell people that you exist and that you're true when you are Satan!
That's literally word for word what Buddy the Elf says to the small Santa Claus about the throne of lies. He's quoting Elf. I can't believe it's real. This can't be real. I thought it was a Poe when I first found this guy.
This
All this time I've been worshiping Santa Claus. I never knew it.
This is a scene in that Will Ferrell movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, Buddy the Elf. Yeah.
And we should never follow you, you liar. And who would we be as Christians and as parents to lie to our children and tell him, oh no, he's real? Why would you say a lie to your children? The Bible tells us we're supposed to train them up in the way of the God, and they will not depart thereof. Well, if you train them up in a lie, then they won't depart thereof, will they? So we train them in
You know
truth,
what
so
would
they
really
won't.
what would really be a good thing for the entire planet is if we started to think about Christ and Christianity and religion and God and all that stuff, exactly how we think about Satan. So that when we hit about 7, 8, 9 years old, we realize it's all a bunch of crap and walk away from it. Okay, I'm done.
Go and be brought up in a lie. Oh, it just bothers me so much. But you see, people accept Santa Claus because years ago there was a newspaper article where some little girl
got about 5 more minutes just left. He's about to wrap up.
wrote into the newspaper and said, "Is there such a thing as Santa Claus?" Because her parents were lying to her and telling her that there was, and she was doubting. I don't think there is. And what did they write? "Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus." Another lie. This is the father of lies. This is Satan incarnate. The Christmas people lie to their children. One of the lies is this. One of the lies is that Santa Claus flies through the sky, comes down the chimney, and brings presents to all the children. Oh, what a beautiful little story, huh? What a wonderful fairy tale. And children, oh, they put milk and cookies out by the chimney. Did you know, I printed this up. Did you know that it's literally impossible for this to take place? If we assume that Santa has to travel 510 million kilometers on Christmas Eve, and that he has only 32 hours to do it.
Homeboy's really going to break down how Santa Claus traveling around the world is impossible right now.
Reasoning behind this is another story, because if the Earth is changing, then he can have more than 24 hours. Then Santa will be traveling at 10,703,437.5 kilometers per hour, or about 1,800 miles per second, all night long.
So obviously, this guy knows shit about advanced physics. He obviously never watches Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now he's supposed to stop at each one of those houses, go down the chimney, leave for present, eat all the stuff, and drink
All
the
he
milk,
has
and
to
then go back
do, it's simple. All he has to do is go through one time zone in an hour, in 1 hour, to go to the next time zone in the next hour. To your all 24 across the globe.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he does test runs all year long.
I have to admit that I asked myself that question when I was a kid, when I was getting to the age of questioning. That wait a minute, if Santa can do all this stuff, how does he do the entire planet? It's really big, and how fast would he have to be flying? And holy cow, wouldn't that burn up the reindeer?
Yeah, that's because you believe. That's because you believe in the globe Earth and that there's the southern continents and all that. Santa Claus makes much more sense on the flat Earth model.
Okay, all right, fine. I'll give you that.
Last year, it says
Santa has a magic watch that can stop time. So he just flies around, and in each time zone, he just stops time while he does all the houses in that time zone, and then he goes on to the next one.
Santa is just a cookie thief, okay?
Is that how he gets around the no-fly zones of some countries?
Yeah, all the missiles will stop in midair.
Well, Strategic Air Command follows Santa closely and is monitoring him close enough to know that if he does fire any or air-to-surface missiles, that we'll be able to fire back and annihilate the old fucker.
700 million Optimus Primes and dragged by 3 million reindeer to weigh 1,232,300 metric tons. How does something like that even get off the Earth? How can it get up in the air?
There's way more weight than that in the air right now with all the commercial flight that we have.
Yeah, and if you're worried about stuff flying into the air because of its weight or something, how the hell did Jesus get up there, huh?
But there's story after story on the internet where you can find things like this, but they said apparently the weight of his thing, with all these other factors figured in, would be 2,363,310.33 tons if he's really carrying around all those toys and doing all that stuff. That's not to mention the weight that he must put on eating all those cookies during that time. So Santa Claus is a lie. And if that was just it, then that wouldn't be so bad.
Oh my gosh,
If that was it, it would be. If it's a lie, no, that would be so bad. That's not so bad, but now here comes a really bad part.
Oh, it's just a harmless little lie that we tell our children. No, it's not harmless when you look at the whole picture and you look at the whole spiritual picture. Satan is Santa Claus. Santa Claus is Baal. It's the same devil that the pagan and the heathen worshipped on this date back then. He's weaseled his way back in, and he's allowed himself to receive the same worship that he got back there. Romans chapter 18.
The long plan. This whole time, it's been the long plan.
Yep, take the long way around.
I hope this has been an eye-opener. I don't hate Christmas. Like I said, Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year. It's a wonderful time to take off and spend time with family and give gifts. You say, was it okay to give gifts? It's never wrong to give somebody gifts.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, he celebrates it, but if you celebrate it, he's going to scream devil at you.
Came to Jesus at the manger, they were given gifts. So I don't have a problem with giving gifts. But what I have a problem with is worshiping the devil rather than worshiping Jesus Christ. Revelation chapter 18, verse 1 is talking about mystery Babylon. It tells us in verse 4, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. We read a verse in Jeremiah, guys.
You know, with every word that this guy has spoken, all I can get what I can't get out of my head is a picture of Dana Carvey in drag.
Yeah.
Says, don't do what the heathen do. Come out from among them. Don't be like them. If we're going to serve Jesus, we're going to have to come out from the world and don't do the same things that the world do. And show to the world we're different. We're not devil worshippers like you. We're worshippers of Jesus Christ. So I hope I haven't burst your bubble. I hope I haven't taken away Christmas. That's not the intention. You can celebrate. If you regard a day to the Lord, you regard that day to the Lord, you celebrate the birth of Christ, and you think about that, and you honor and you glorify the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But all this other junk that is trying to get in and mix with Christianity today, you show people, look, this isn't us. We don't celebrate Satan. We don't worship Semiramis and Nimrod. We don't celebrate Tammuz. We celebrate the true Christ, not the Antichrist, Satan. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed this message. I hope it was edification and edifying to you. All I want to do is glorify my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
And that's what I've tried to do.
I wouldn't call it educational.
Was it edifying?
Yeah. Yeah, it teaches me what kind of a lunatic this fucker is.
And I see a lot of customs accompanied with this thing called Christmas that don't honor Jesus. And I know this might not be a fun message to hear. It wasn't very fun to preach. But I know one thing, if Jesus was here, he'd probably say the exact
You
same
sure
thing.
seems like you're having
He'd probably say,
fun.
why are you worshiping the devil instead of worshiping me?
Got really excited, didn't he?
Yeah.
All I want to do is say what the Bible says and present to you what history teaches. I just want you to see this, and then let you make up your own mind. Now, what am I going to do as a Christian? How can I glorify my
What
Lord and Savior Jesus
history
Christ?
teaches.
Thanks for
Yeah.
watching. We'll see you next week on thecloudchurch.org.
The best thing you can do as a Christian is to quit Christianity. It's
All right. So, panel, what did we learn?
Besides, you guys crazy.
Yeah.
If you rearrange the letters and words, they can mean whatever you want them to mean.
Yeah. Yep, you can rearrange letters and do anagrams and have all kinds of fun that way.
The whole Christmas story, and not the movie, the real thing, explains to me why there's also a great mix-up when it comes to Easter. You know, the Easter. I mean, we could mess around with the Easter spelling of bunny, which is of course B-U-N-N-U-Y-Y, but the days are named wrong. It's not Good Friday. It's Dead Jesus Day. Okay, it's hanging out with the small furry animals gathered together to gaze and grooving with a Lord. And then there's the last day, which is Jesus gets Red Bull Wings Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, that reminds me. Does this guy have an Easter thing we can talk about? And when it comes around that holiday, we can review his video for that and in the spring if he has one.
Well, if he does, we'll all have to get back together for that.
Reunion.
I'm sure he's got something about that, about, why the rabbits are agents of Satan and that the eggs are going to corrupt our children somehow.
Well, eggs can carry salmonella.
Here's his channel. He does these charts and stuff a lot, it looks like. So
684,000 subscribers.
He's a car theist. See?
Car theist?
Mm-hmm.
He celebrates like a 4-speed transition or a 5-speed transition.
The truth about Easter.
There you go. Well, we have something on the calendar for it then. That's how we're going to celebrate Easter in the Hive. All right, and let me know if you want to be part of it. We can hold up to 6 in here. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button. Again, I got Ian's bands page pinned there. I was hoping to get him. I was hoping to get him to 20, but he got to 10, which is about halfway. So
yeah, I got to open in another tab to listen to the music after this.
Yeah, not the recordings from the fans, so they don't got any actual quality recordings up yet. But yeah, they got some stuff up. But yeah, as for Breaker, we're gonna have to break into that come Easter. Tonight, please go see Bad Science Sunday with Maya and Dr. Tapioca Weasel. It should be a good time like always. So don't forget to turn out for that. And every Wednesday, Purple has their afternoon stream where they do just kind of an open chat like we did tonight with instead of a video, they have a topic like Day of the Month.
Yeah, except we tell the truth on Purple's show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye, all.
Bye-bye. Bye, Bounds. Don't get caught.
All right, welcome back to the Cloud Church. This is Robert Breaker, missionary evangelist to the Spanish and English-speaking people, and we are assembling together here on the Cloud Church once again to study the Word of God. And today's message, it's that time of year again, it's going to be about Christmas. But notice I put a question mark up here. Christmas? Question mark? What I have to preach today is something I've been putting off. Trust me. This is something I really don't want to preach because I don't want to burst anyone's bubble. But there are some things that accompany Christmas that are not biblical. And many today